So, sorry.
Just giving you a hard time, buddy. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, go live. Boom. Going live. I got this thing recording, so if it cuts out or anything, we're just going to continue talking, and I'll edit it after the fact. What's up, guys? This is Coach Jimmy from Tect. Today, I have Greg Pannell with me, and Coach Bam, and CJ, Greg's son. Guys, Greg has an amazing story, and I had to have him on. I wanted to talk to him, and just about mindset and growth and stuff like that interests me a lot. And that's something that really intrigues me, is like seeing people overcome adversity. And like, I know what it takes to look at things and then have to like overcome like hardships and things like that, but nothing like what he has. And it just impresses me so much when you look at these amazing people that do these things and stuff. And I just had to have him on. I'll get into that in a minute, but first I want to tell you guys, check out our sponsor. It's Beard and Chiropractic Care. Good Lord, I messed his name up. He's the only guy in town that can straighten a preacher out. All of us use him. He helps us with our back pain, our hip pain, our joint pain. If you're having problems like most people do from holding their cell phone all day, they get this knot right here in the top of their shoulder and looking down. That's from holding your cell phone, by the way. But he can straighten that out. He can help you fix that. So you guys go check him out. That's Beard and Chiropractic Care. And in Tech Center, I own it. So that's where we record this thing at. It's upstairs. And guys, it'll change your life. Come check us out. We do mixed martial arts. We do a kids program. We do adult programs. We have a little bit of it all. We're starting our kickboxing program January 16th. So if you're interested in doing just kickboxing, come holler at your boy. I'll hook you up. I would prefer you to do jiu-jitsu because it's a more complete martial art. It's not just punching people and shutting them off, giving them brain damage. It's actually controlling somebody twice your size, bigger than you, doing things like that. I think it is a superior martial art. Anyway, let's get into it. Greg, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself, bud?
I'm Greg Pannell. I'm 36 years old. Back in 2007, I had a motorcycle accident. I came over a blind hill doing almost 200 miles an hour. It hit a car head on. It was on the wrong side of the road. It resulted in amputation of my left leg above the knee. I broke the tibial and fibula in the right ankle and tore a nerve loose from my spine that controlled my left bicep. I was in the hospital for 13 days. Came home and did my own recovery at home.
You did all of your recovery at home?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I didn't do any rehab, anything like that.
What was your home life like at that time?
I had already moved out of home, but after that I had to move back in with my parents so I could have some help.
Yeah, for sure.
I came home. They didn't even cast my ankle. They put it in a boot. The other leg was amputated and wrapped up, and I couldn't lift my left arm up at all, so I was in a wheelchair for about 6 months.
What kind of wheelchair was you in? Did you get like a electric one?
No, it was a standard.
And you couldn't use your other arm?
No.
Oh, man, I bet that was tough.
There were some nice people in town. When I first came home, they'd organized a motorcycle rally to try and raise some money up to help with medical expenses and things like that. And someone let me borrow a motorized wheelchair for that event. But as far as home life, yeah, I was stuck in a chair, stuck on the couch.
What was you going through mentally at the time? Like what? I know like that is hard and all that, but like, me just thinking about like the hardships of losing a leg and like how it could have been easy for you to just go, well, I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks, and like quit. Did you feel that? Did you go through those emotions?
Like, initially, it's shocking, right? And like for like the first year, 2 years, I would wake up and be like, maybe it was just a dream, just waiting to wake up and it be there, and it not. And then finally, you get to the point where you go through the grieving process and you're like, I don't even want to live this way. You go from being the person that you were to 3/4 of the person you were, and trying to navigate the mindset of how am I going to have the life that I wanted to have. I wanted to join the military. I can't do that anymore. I don't know what direction I want to take my life in now. And so it was a good 6 years of hard struggling and growth mentally to overcome the loss of it, and then to accept who you are now and start growing from that person to let go of who you were. It was a good 6-year journey.
You was talking about a little bit about, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live this life anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what pulled you out of that? I like, dude, just tell your stories. Like, it's not. This isn't an interview. You just talk and have fun. I didn't mean to jump in and just get super serious right out of the gate. But dude, when we talked, when you and I talked downstairs, we were just talking about the mindset, and like, for me, what mindset is everything. In everything you do in life, mindset is everything. And I know, like, I've been digging into ADHD a lot. Like, I was undiagnosed with ADHD. That's why I get super hyper focused. That's why I have all this nice stuff in this room, is because I get hyper focused in things. And then I'm like learning about myself, and I'm trying to do this mental work to basically build a better me. And then, like, trying to build a better me, I started realizing how friggin' hard it is. Right. And then you were like, I'll get into this, but you're jacked. Like, you are, like, when I seen you come, I didn't even realize that you had a problem with your leg, because you walked in and you're like this mountain of a man. And like, I could tell you've done a ton of friggin' work. You don't just get that way. That's not something that people just do. It takes hours upon hours and a lifestyle and healthy choices and all this stuff to get built that way. And it's like, and then when I realized you only had one leg, I went, holy shit, like, this dude is amazing. It's because, like, I have everything, and I struggle with trying to stay disciplined and do those things. When I was trying to compete and do all this other stuff, that was the hardest part for me. Not training. Training was the easy part for me. But all the healthy stuff and all the showing up to the crap that sucked. Right. And you're doing it. And not only are you doing it, you look amazing. So it's like, no, man, I was like, it blew my mind. That's why I wanted you. I want people to hear like the darkness, and like how you, like, did you read books? Was it a person? Was it just yourself that pulled you out of it? Like, I want to know, like, the process of that, because that it had to be hard. I can't even fathom like what it would be like.
So what it actually was is kind of petty. My girlfriend at the time, we had been talking about getting engaged, and then I had the accident, and she disappeared for about 3 months. She wanted to sort out her feelings, and then it didn't end up working out. And after talking about 6 months or so after we broke up, she's like, you're just not the same person that you were. You used to be such a strong person, and now you've gotten weak. Ooh. And I can't be with that. I said, all right, well, I'll show you weak. And from there, I just started doing the work.
That's not petty, though. That was motivation, right?
It's motivation, but
man,
that's what drives me.
Yeah, dude. It's like, it's funny. Everybody says, it's funny. Everybody says, like, oh, they got broke up. That's when they become a gym bro. But there's some truth to it.
It's truth. I mean, you want motivation, a woman will give it to you.
Have her tell you you're weak.
Yeah.
Wyatt Montgomery said, why Greg so big? Yeah. So that's what pulled you through it. That's what made you change your mindset. Just those simple little words.
Those words, yeah.
So something that I talk about regularly, and I talk about it in a kids class. These people are like, oh, they're bullying my kid. They're saying these mean things. I think there's a truth to that. There's a certain amount of bullying needed. Yeah. I think there's a truth to that, because if you're a kid and you're going to school and someone says, man, your hair's messy, or your hair looks stupid, or why are you wearing the same shirt 2 days in a row? Why do you smell bad? Or whatever. And they pick on you about that. you're not going to make that mistake again.
Right.
If you're smart, if you're intelligent.
Right.
It's like, oh, if I wear the same shirt 2 days in a row, someone's going to point it out. Not pointing names, Bam, but they'll point it out. And Bam will point out if you wear the same pair of jeans 2 days in a row. Didn't you wear those jeans yesterday? Yes, I did, Bam.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I will say, in high school one time, I wore a shirt inside out to school. No one noticed. I noticed it myself. No one pointed it out. No one noticed.
That's because no one liked you in school, and they just didn't care enough to pick on you. They was like, you know what, that fool does what he wants. He's the weird kid. I'm just playing.
No, there's probably a lot of truth to that.
I would have been your friend if we was in school, Bam. But no, man.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think there's a healthy amount of bullying that you need in order to grow as a person. It's like these things get pointed out, and then you go, oh,
yeah,
okay, I need to conform.
Learning.
I need to conform a little. I mean, when it gets torturous is where then there's a problem, right?
Exactly.
And then it's like, this is when you got to learn to say something to this person or stand up, stand tall, make eye contact, speak clearly. But I think that things like that are needed, and it makes you want to do better. It just makes you want to be better and do better, and it is good motivation.
It's like your friends, you know, if you have gym bros that you go work out with, if you're not heckling each other and trying to push each other and call them out on their bullshit, they're not your friends, you know. That's one thing we always said when we went to the gym and we give somebody a hard time. We're like, if we're not giving you a hard time, we don't like you.
Yep.
You know?
Same thing here.
Yeah.
If we're not giving you a hard time on the mat, you're not one of us.
You're not.
You're just somebody
there.
Here.
You're just there.
And which luckily enough at our school, we don't have a lot of guys that are
out.
That are out. We don't like there has been a few that come through, and it took them a little while to get that way, because like we had to learn their sense of humor and stuff. We had to learn them for them to do it, but we don't really have cliques and stuff, which I really like about our school.
Yeah.
It's like I've been to schools where the cliques were all like there, and then you felt like an outsider. And I don't really think we have that at all at our school. And if I see someone sitting offside, I'm like, what are you doing? What's wrong? Come over here with us.
Right.
You're one of us. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah. So, but we heckle everybody. I think my favorite one, I had a kid thinking, he wasn't a kid, he was like 19. He joined the military. But I had him thinking I couldn't read for like a month.
That was great. That was amazing.
Yeah. He said something smart in class, and it was something about something that Bam had done, and he was like, can't you read? And I went, no. What is that funny to you? You're like, are you like, what's the problem? You making fun of me right now? And I was like, really, dude? That's messed up. And I walked away.
And just dropped
and when I walked away, my back was to him, and I was like, and then like Bam knew right away. I text in our group chat. He is in the group chat. Like I text in it, I do all that, and then he about an hour later, it was like the end of class, he goes, you text in our group chat. And I was like, you never heard of voice to text? It's like when you text my phone, it speaks to me, it tells me what you said. And then he was like, and he didn't say nothing. He walked off. And I could tell that it was turning in his head. And he was like, I just don't believe him. And, dude, this went on for like 3 weeks. And then Taylor was the one that made me come clean. Because it was kids' class.
Yes, it was kids' class.
And I said, all right, guys, let me tell you, this is a trick. CJ, listen to this. This is how you get good at this is the secret. You write down what you learn. And I told the kids that. I said, you write down in the best words that you can everything that you learned during the day. And then 2 weeks from now, like you write it down every day, but 2 weeks, you get 2 weeks behind in your notebook. And then you go back and you read what you wrote. And when it comes time to roll at the end of class, you do what we did 2 weeks ago. It'll work. Because right now, what's happening is everybody's focused on the move that we're doing today, and they're trying to do the move that we're doing right now, and everybody knows what you're doing, so you're not they're stopping it. But if you go back 2 weeks, the other move's going to work because nobody's thinking about that move. They're thinking about the other one, until everybody gets better and better and better. But that's how I got good in the beginning. And I said that to him in the middle of kids' class. He went, I knew you could read. And I just cut my eyes at him. I went, really mean, just, And he looked, and then I bowed everybody out, and I walked up to him, and I was like, if you let these kids know that I don't know how to read, I'm going to beat you up and stuff you in a toilet. And I walked off, and I was like, and I was smiling again, and it was like 3 hours later, he sent a message in a group chat, and he went, Coach Jimmy, I'm really sorry that I did that to you today. I didn't know what I was thinking. I didn't mean to. It's like, you're one of my best friends, and I was like, I care a lot about you, and I care a lot about the school, and I'm sorry I did that to you. And Taylor was like, if you don't tell him, because I was like, it's cool, man. I understand. We all make mistakes. And Taylor was like, if you don't tell him, if you do not tell him, I'm telling him. I'm not. And I was like, dude, I got something to tell you. I know how to read. I knew you knew how to read. And then he's like, for months, he's like, I don't believe nothing you say. Is this even a real move? For months, he was just, is this even real? I'm like, nothing's real.
I still only believe half the stuff you say.
What?
If y'all ain't figured it out now, Coach Jimmy's a troll.
Oh, yeah.
He will run with it, have you believing upside down is right side up.
Cake isn't real.
Yeah.
It isn't real.
I'll tell you one thing, though, about not having cliques in the gym, like all of us just hanging out like a family. Those nights we decided to go out to eat, like 30 minutes before place closed and 20 of us walk in, that's not fun to me. Not at all. I've done like service industry jobs like that before, and like 20 folks walking in, and now like if I'm number 15 in line trying to order too, by the time I order, they're gonna be pissed. They're handling my food, and now we're trying to get tables together. Like that's just not a good time to me.
I love it. I don't like showing up late, but I enjoy the time, and that's why we choose like I Heart Taco or places that we know the people, like the owners and stuff. We know them. They let us hang out while they're cleaning up and stuff. I try not to be that guy, but we leave out of here pretty late. So, all right. So you how old were you when you got into your accident?
4 weeks after I turned 21.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
And is there I know there is. I had a friend. It was my mom's best friend. So she lost her leg in a car wreck. And there was a long process for her to get a prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
How long did that take? And was it something? Did you want that for yourself, or did you was like couldn't wait? You was in a hurry.
Yeah. See, like one of the funny things about it is I had a friend, and she had asked me if I would take her to her senior prom. I'd already graduated. I was 21, but she had asked me if I'd take her. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And then I had the accident. So I called her up. I'm like, look, I had an accident. I lost my leg. I don't know if I'll be able to take you, but if I can, I will if you still want me to. That's up to you. And she's like, yeah, if you can, I'd love to. So from the time I got my prosthetic, I had 2 weeks to learn how to walk with it to take her to prom. I did it in the front yard. Just got out there and fell until I got it to where I could walk. I took her and I walked her out across the bridge and whatnot, gave her a first dance, and had a good time. That was motivation to learn how to do that.
Yeah, so women is what changed your life, dude.
Yeah.
Don't tell your wife or your
The girlfriend.
Yeah.
I had though. We talked about it. I mean, that's a big part of who I am.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Yeah, but so you have to. Whenever they did the amputation, they used a wound vac. So they left an area about 2 inches in diameter open on the end of the leg that they put like a hose to suck the fluids and stuff off. Whenever I came home, there wasn't enough tissue left from the accident to cover that hole, so I just had to let that regrow. So that was about a 6 to 8 month process for that to heal before they could even talk about getting a prosthetic. And then once I did get one, it was huge. Like my leg was swollen, it looked like a pillow. Throughout the years, it finally gradually started shrinking down, but yeah, it's a long process. The worst part, I didn't have any insurance when I had the accident, and it wasn't until I started working after I graduated college before I got insurance. So the first couple of legs I got, I had to make last, and even with all the shrinkage and it not fitting, I had to wear that. So the entire time I was going to college, I had a leg that was about 3 sizes too big. So it created what they call an adductor roll, where the muscle rolls over the edge of the prosthetic to act like a callus. And once I got insurance, we had to make a leg to encapsulate that and actually put pressure on it to make that go away.
To shrink it, or to make it
go back to normal.
Yeah. Dude, and that was just another thing to overcome. Were you lifting weights this whole time, or?
No. I took about 5 years off from lifting entirely, and then I'll go back and work out some. I didn't get back into it hardcore until about 2-3 years ago. I decided to get back into it and change. Like at one point in time, I got up to over 300 pounds. It's heavy. Had no drive.
Just a bad relationship with food, or is it just you just didn't care? Some
bad
mindset?
Relationship with food, sedentary lifestyle. Just sit at home, watch YouTube, watch TV.
What happened then? Like, what happened 3 or 4 years ago that you said, "Hey, I don't want to be this anymore"?
I started going to college. Well, I guess it was longer than that because I started going to college and got a prosthetic that fit, so it didn't hurt to move as much.
Oh, that makes a big difference. Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
So I started moving around more, and then just going from moving, I was like, I don't want to look this way. Just taking pictures in the mirror and looking and being like, this ain't me. I know what I used to be. This ain't me. So I did an intermittent fasting diet, went from over 300 down to 180. So shrivel.
So I got a question about that. The intermittent fasting. Which one did you do first? And then second, people talk about how that's not sustainable over time. When you got down to a certain weight, at what point did you decide that you had to start eating more because your work was making you unhealthy? Because there's a point when you get too small, and then if you don't up your intake of food to match the output, because people don't understand this. If you're losing weight, let's just say I'm 300 pounds. I start losing weight. The things that I do to lose weight, if I'm doing all of this work and I'm constantly losing weight with the food that I'm intaking, I'm going to continue losing weight even when I get down to the size that I want, to the point that I look sickly.
Right.
At what point did you figure out, all right, I'm small enough, now I need to build this muscle, and did you get there and go, all right, I look great now, I'm going to just continue doing, like, was there a point?
No, so like I got down to 180, and at 180, I feel like I was a skinny fat.
That's how I feel now.
Yeah. So, like, you have more definition than I did, me at 180. Okay. So, what I'd done is at a certain point, like I was doing what they call an OMED, so 1 meal a day. I would eat once and then just drink water or coffee.
How many calories was in your meal? Do you know, or you didn't keep up with that?
1,400.
That's what Frank Mullis did, dude. Frank Mullis did that and lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, I mean, it works because, I mean, you're essentially starving yourself. Like, because I was working, and on top of that, I decided I'd start walking. So I'd walk between 15 and 30,000 steps a day, every day, and then take in 1,400 calories, and then go to work for 8 to 12 hours. So once I got to 180, I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, I know mathematically wise, I should have a six-pack by 180. 6'3", this is my body style. By the time I here, I should look this way, and I don't. What did I do wrong? And so I decided that there is no shortcut.
No.
You can't
for anything.
diet to it. You can't crash diet to it. You have to do the work. So from there, I upped my calories to something sustainable, closer to 1,800, 1,900 a day, making sure that I had a good source of protein versus just carbs and fat. You know, one meal a day, you go and eat a taco plate somewhere and you got calories.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good calories. It's not good food. But it covered my calories for the day, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm done eating now.
Golly.
So I started doing meal prep, and so I would do 7 ounces of chicken breast.
Did you meal prep yourself, or did you use a company?
I did it myself.
Oh, nice.
Just get an Instapot, put a package of chicken breast in there, cook the chicken breast, shred it up, weigh it out on a scale, and then finish it off with 200 grams of broccoli. Some cheese on there, and then to change it up, I'll do like a couple tablespoons of barbecue sauce on one, do like some hot sauce on another. Just change the flavor up, but do that 2-3 times a day.
Sounds like my fight camp.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I did when I was losing
telling
weight.
CJ the other day, I was like, he had some spaghetti and come down here and he did like one session. I was like, you want to stay for the adult class? I'm like, no, dude, my stomach's messed up. I'm like, you can't do that spaghetti. Come down here. Need some chicken.
It was like, so I came in and it was like I was fired up. And when I got time to leave, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go crash. Like I felt like it was hurting down here, especially like right here, and that's about it.
Dude, you cannot eat. For me personally, I cannot eat an hour and a half before I compete or before I roll hard. I can't do it. I will be sick. And that's why I hate going to Nagas and New Breeds. I hate them because
You don't know when you're going to compete.
you don't know when you're going to compete. They tell you you're going to compete at this time, and then you show up at, it's like, you're going to compete at 12. 17 hours later.
Yeah.
It's like you never know when to eat. Because I'll eat and say, all right, I'm going on at 12. I need to eat by 10. You know, I eat. I'm going to have energy, right? I'm going to eat, go to the bathroom, be good to go.
Yeah.
No, I eat, and then it's 1 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, now I'm going to be feeling bad. If by 2 o'clock, if I don't eat again, then I feel weak. And I eat every 2 hours. And I'm going to feel weak. And every time I've ever competed in a jiu-jitsu tournament, I have felt weak. And it's because you can't, like, manage. You don't know the good gauge of what to eat. And then people are like, oh, bring you a snack. And, like, eat a banana and all this. I'm like, you do not want me to eat a banana and then go out there and grapple right after I eat it. And which is, I would rather not eat and compete weak on an empty stomach than I would to eat and then have to compete because I'm throwing up on somebody. Yeah. Like, or I may poop on them, you know, like I cannot eat and then get active. Like I have colitis in my stomach, so food goes through me. Like I eat, when I leave the restaurant, I have to go home and use the bathroom.
Right.
And it's just how I've always been. That's why I stayed small when I wasn't active the first time I hurt my back. Right. And it's like now I'm comfortable because Taylor cooks and stuff. So it's like I hurt my back this time. And this is one thing that got me on the mindset thing, which is like why you're so impressive to me. It's like my back is hurt. And it is so hard for me to just show up and coach. Like, I had to have help. Taylor had to help me go to the bathroom and stuff. It's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? And then I've only done it for a short time. And here's the thing, is like I'm hurting and I'm recovering. And the mental toughness that it's taking from me, and there's like I hurt my back. I'm always in pain, but I'm still a whole person.
Right.
But I'm showing up and I'm like, God, I hurt. I don't want to do this. And then I see people like you and like you're showing up and you're doing this stuff and you're carrying all this heavy weight and you're doing all this stuff. I'm like, man, I got some sciatica in my leg. It's like, I got a leg, bro. Let's go. And it really does motivate me and make me feel like, man, stop bitching. Shut the fuck up and do the work. Sorry, CJ.
All right.
But yeah, shut up and do the work. Like, show up. You got people out here like Greg that's moving Buicks, you know? So, and that really is, it's guys like you that make me look at it and just tell me, stop beating yourself up. Like, stop finding these excuses and do the damn thing. So I guess mine's simple too, right? I'm not gonna let no one-legged man outwork me. Great, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
Hey,
I'm just playing.
That's it.
But so the way I see it, the way I'm looking at it now, or whatever, is like you got injured. You had 6 or 7 months before you even got a chance to start the process to get fitted for a prosthetic leg, and then you didn't have one that fit. Then you went to college. Your life was crap. You were a fatty. You were out of shape, and you said, "This isn't me."
Yeah.
And you just started meal prepping, and then it's just all downhill from there. You just become this monster of a person.
It's not downhill at all. I mean, it's all uphill. It's uphill every day. That's what's beautiful about it. There's no top. There's no goal.
There's no ceiling.
Yeah, you can't say, "Oh, once I get here, that'll be it." Because every time you get to that point, you're like, "No,
it's not enough.
That ain't it.
It's not enough."
That ain't it.
That's how I am with business.
Yeah.
It's like Taylor gets frustrated with me with business. She gets so frustrated. All right, I need 80 members. All right, we need 100 members. All right, we need 150. It's like, why are you not celebrating this number? Because that was a low number. We hit it too easy.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
This is nothing to be happy about. It was too low. It's like, it's time to go. This isn't enough. This isn't enough. It's like, I think that's a double-edged sword. You can get caught up in where you're going and forget to enjoy the process.
That's true.
And I think the process is the goal now.
It is.
And it's like I have these kids that want to do jiu-jitsu and want to be world champions, and they want to do it right now. And I'm like, no, you have to show up and do the work.
Right.
You have to do it every day. And if you're not here, doing it an hour a day is not going to make you a world champion.
No.
It's not. It's just not going to make you a world champion, man.
That's
So
what me and CJ's talked about.
Yeah,
you got to do it at home. You got to do it. You got to think about it. You got to watch world champions and see what they're doing, and then you got to say, all right, what can I do that I can make better than them? Because what they're doing got them there, but now everybody knows this. What can I do to outdo this person? Because he's a champion, I need to beat him.
Right. It's like that. It's like that time we had that conversation, and you were talking about when you would be preparing for a fight. You're out working an imaginary person in your head because every day they're outdoing you. And the same way with lifting, if I'm looking for a competition, I'm like, when I leave the gym, I'm mad at myself because I'm like, he didn't leave the gym today. He's still there.
He's still there.
Why am I tired?
Yeah.
I turn around and go back in there and do 3 or 4 more sets if I have to, just to get my mindset right because I'm like, they're outworking me. I can't let nobody outwork me.
Dude, I love that because with me at the when I was trying to compete in kickboxing, and then I made the transition to MMA and all that stuff, I was getting up at 4 o'clock because I had a wife and kids.
Yeah.
Like I had a family already. I had a family at 17, and I was like getting up and running, and then I was doing kickboxing in the morning. And then we was meeting at lunch, doing kickboxing or wrestling or whatever with one other person most of the time because nobody shows up at that time. Yeah. Then I was showing up for kickboxing, BJJ, then MMA in the afternoons. And this was while I did a full 9 to 10 hour work day. Right. Like every day. I was doing this every day. And I would be telling myself the whole time, like, that dude's doing more than you. He's getting up at 3. He's getting up at 3:30. He don't run 10 miles. He run 5 miles. He didn't work today. All he did was focus on whooping your ass. You lost hours in a day because you had to do this job. He's working all day. He went took an Epsom salt bath and come back and he did this. And that's how I trained. Yeah. Dude, I did 18 fight camps that way and fought twice. I was like,
oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it make you sick on your stomach, but it doesn't matter. The journey, right? I wish that I would have been around the right people earlier.
Right.
That's what we was talking about earlier. It's like, I wish, I felt when I realized that the people I'd surrounded myself with didn't know any more than I do. They was just winging it. Still, there's still those dudes pretending to be those guys that to like other people. Those guys are still out there. They're still doing this type of thing. And I think that that's what sets me apart. Is like now a game recognizes game. Now I'm realizing it's like, nah, man. It's like, you're not going to be able to get to where you want to be unless you start looking at the people that are where you want to be and doing what they're doing. And not only that, looking to them and going, hey, how? What are you doing? What do you think I should do? Talk to them. Be a student of the game. Don't just be blindly following this dude because he says he knows. If he's not where you want to be, then he's probably not the guy to be listening to.
Not the one.
Right?
There's a millionaire. I don't remember who it was, but he said, take the 5 closest people in your group.
Yep.
And look at them, and that's where you're going to be. If you want to be better than that, surround yourself with different people. Yeah.
Dude, that is literally, I could pull up my messages right now while it's in the chat. He was, when we were complaining about New Breed, he said they never have the absolute bracket up until the very last second. So you don't even know when you're going to compete in absolute. So there's that. But him and I was messaging. We do this thing. We hold each other accountable every day. We get on a phone call. The goal is 10 a.m. While it's up and ready. I forget what time it is. It's like time does not exist to me. I have to set alarms, and then I have to set alarm for my alarm because I suck. I get it. But we usually get on the call about 10:30, 10:45.
Tell them why, Tom, like you suck at time.
Why do I suck at time, Ben?
Oh, because you'd rather people wait on you than you wait on people. You can't stand to wait on people, so you let them wait on you.
Well, I'm going to be honest. This is I found out recently, like yesterday, that this is a symptom of ADHD. Yeah. Also, that's the reason why I don't like cabinets and drawers. Because if I put it in a drawer, it doesn't exist. I forget people exist. If they're not in my top 5 favorites on my phone, I forget they exist. Yeah. That's a symptom of ADHD. I didn't know that. I do now. I've been studying. I've been trying to be a better person.
The more you talk about ADHD, I've been home the other day and told Michelle, I'm like, I think I have ADHD. Just from talking to Jimmy and the symptoms he's talking about, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand everything he's talking about because that's me.
Yeah.
And people's like even my family, like, if I don't talk to my mom, I'll go months without talking to mom, and then she'll call and be like, oh, hey, yeah, I was just thinking about you. You know? No.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about you.
Yeah. You do not exist to me.
Unless you're in my face.
Yeah. And that is a symptom of ADHD.
I'm only like that with like ex-gym members. Like they came in, trained for like 2 months, but then I don't see them for a year. You're like, you remember so-and-so? Like, they moved. I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. Have no idea. They have what color hair? You made this person up. You're trolling me again. I don't know who you're talking about.
So I'm like that with everybody. Yeah, everything too. Yeah. I'm like that. If it's not in my face or in my immediate vicinity, it's not real. It doesn't exist. I'm like that with everybody. And it's like I have to leave notes for myself. Like, and then if I write something on a notepad and then flip the page and write it on the next page and then shut it, the only thing that exists on that notepad is the front page.
No. See, I'm like the messy organized, where I'll have like, it looks disorganized. Like I'll have a pile of books here or a pile of notebooks there, and I'm like, oh, I need to look this up. I can go pull out a random notebook because I know it's in that notebook, and I know it's about halfway through. So it looks messy, but there's an organization to it. I know where it's
you
at.
have to think about the thing, right? So we're like that. It's like, where's that gym clip at? Oh, or do you have a gym clip? Yeah, it's on the floor next to the desk in the back, yeah. Whatever. And it's like, what? Yeah. Look right by the left post. It's right there.
I would never be able to find that.
But here's the thing.
Well, we know right where it's at.
But we do. And here's the thing. It's the reason I know where that is because I seen it there, and then I forgot it existed, but then you brought it to the forefront of my mind. Now I'm thinking about this gym
trigger.
clip.
Yep.
That was a trigger. And I have things like that in my life, but it's
That's
like
where the post-its and the alarms and stuff come into play. Is we have to trigger our memory to, or else it don't exist.
You
I'm
see,
like,
my
wait,
work
what?
computer, dual monitors, and I have sticky notes across the top and down both sides, and then some across the bottoms, like where my buttons aren't at to turn it on. I have sticky notes all the way around it.
that's dope. See, I need that. I need that in my life. And the thing is if I use a notepad, I have to tear the page out and put it up, or my organizational skills suck, because if I put it up and it's nice and neat, unless I use this thing every single day, I forget I have it.
That exists. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget that it exists. I forget that I have it. And then I'll be like, man, I organized everything, but then now I don't have anything. I got to go buy more. I need more notebooks. You just put 17 in a drawer. Oh,
yeah, I did, didn't I?
yeah. Oh, I don't need a notebook. Never mind. That's really how it is.
True stuff, yeah. Awful.
So, anyway, my lack of time management skills is we forget, like, time. We get so hyper-focused on things, or we think that we have, like, we'll look at the phone and go, oh, we don't got to be there for 20 minutes. I can brush my teeth, bathe the dog, get dressed, get ready, eat breakfast, and then be there. Like, in my mind, I think that. I think that I'm going to make it. I'm not going to make it. But in my mind, I go, I'm going to make that. That's ADHD. Yeah. You think that.
Because you eliminate the driving time.
Yeah. Or whatever. You just don't really.
I can get this done in 20 minutes. Yeah,
yeah.
We'll be there. You just burn up the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I've got that too when I play video games. So like, I'll be playing Forza or like.
Speak up, talking to that thing.
Sir. So I'll be playing Forza or Minecraft or something like that, and
just lose track of time.
And the
it's
thought
more
is
about
gone.
lose track of time, and I just don't think about things around me.
That's ADHD too.
I think
that
that's
thought
anybody
process.
playing the game, because you get lost in the game. Like I still do that. Playing the game, if I'm into the game, I get lost. Like reading a book, it's the same thing. You get into whatever world you're getting into.
And see, that's another, the simple things, like if I'm reading, I hear you when people are talking to me. I hear you. If I'm in a room with a bunch of people, I hear them, but my attention is not on them. Unless it's dangerous, I don't acknowledge it. Like it's almost like I have to finish and then go, what were you saying? But if you're asking me shit while I'm reading, one or two things are going to happen. I'm going to get frustrated because can't focus on what I'm reading, or I'm not listening to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're lost in the world. Like, I know there's noise, but I don't know what the noise is. If it's a book that I'm invested in, I'm in this world, I just know there's noise over here. Can't pick it out, don't know what's happening, don't know if it's a person talking or a dog barking. I'm in this world right now.
Yeah, I get into worlds too, but I guess because of the post-traumatic stress and stuff, I know everything that's going on around me and my environment.
So between reading and audiobooks, because we both like both mediums, which one are you able to absorb more easily? Like for me, it's audiobooks.
So that depends for me. Am I in a dark enough space that's quiet, and like in a dark enough space that's quiet to where I can focus on the book, or am I in a noisy environment? If I'm in a noisy environment, nothing allows me to focus wholeheartedly. But if I'm in a noisy environment that I can kind of tune out where I feel safe, audiobook.
So I do audiobooks too. And it depends. There's basically 3 times I'm listening to an audiobook. Usually I'm like yard work, mowing grass, something like that, or like running. And usually, like with audiobooks, I find myself, I zone out. Like and I have to backtrack. Like, I got to rewind it 30 seconds now. I don't know what the hell they just said.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're conscientious of that, you can rewind it and figure out
that's what I'm saying.
they're
I just come back, and now they're talking about something like, how did they get here? And I got to backtrack. Whereas in a book, I don't find myself drifting off as much.
Agreed.
as I do audiobooks.
Why? The reason why I was laughing is Wyatt said, "This is the absolute truth," with a sweaty smiley face. He said, "Jimmy will ignore the shit out of you, especially if you're on the phone."
You did it this week, I think. Like, you actually looked at me and what did you say? I repeated it, and then you, like, shook off the glaze and said, I still don't know what you just said. Like, you legit were doing something, and I knew I didn't have your attention. I knew it. But then you looked up and said, oh, what did you say? So now I'm asking it for real because I have your attention. And then I still didn't have it. Like, there was a glaze, and you shook it off like you physically shook your head and was like,
I'm sorry.
I don't know what you said.
I was looking at him too, probably.
You were.
Yeah.
But in your head, you're still somewhere else trying to figure out what problem you're solving.
You're still thinking about wherever you were just at.
Yeah. I do it. And I'm not ignoring you guys. I promise. It's just my mind has already thought through the whole conversation. Like, I done played it out in pictures because I don't think inside of a voice. My thought monologue is pictures where everybody else is a little voice. I didn't know that, but we figured that out too.
Oh, yeah, something else to figure out. We had this whole discussion. Apparently, I'm weird. When I read a book, all my characters ain't got different voices. I don't make up voices for characters. I just read what's there.
And they all have different voices already.
No, they all have his voice.
They all have, like, my voice. Like,
every character in the book is his voice.
Like, I don't make up, like, a random voice for this character. And apparently, everyone does that.
What about faces?
Whatever they describe
Whatever they describe it as.
So they
in the
describe
book.
it as that, but then they have your
But
voice.
they have Bam's voice.
Yes.
So the women in the book that are like, oh, Larry, you're great. He's like, oh, Larry, you're great.
Apparently, like, I'm weird.
That is different.
I'm the exact opposite when it comes to that because I'll actually make up voices.
No, apparently, I'm the oddball. Everyone makes up voices.
Like, one person will be saying something and will be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, see, his
Why'd
voice
you do
changed.
that? And
It's
then
like, it was a
other
girl and it got higher pitched. It was a dude and it gets deeper.
No,
And
the
it's like-
only emphasis I give, is it a question? Are they excited? Is it all uppercase? Then I emphasize it in my head. Voice stays the same.
So it's the girl, wow. And wow. It's like, so excited right now. I don't know. I can't do it. I give them, like, they describe them. I picture what they look like.
Yeah.
Then they have their voice. If they're Chinese, they have a Chinese accent, homie.
King Kong, King Kong.
Oh, too far. Too far.
far.
This man started making ching chong sounds. Gonna get us
No.
canceled.
See, the way I think about it, I don't care if it's they're a Chinese character. How you know? They grew up in America. They got an American accent. They have my accent. They grew up in Georgia.
If they
You
grew
don't
up
know
in,
that. You don't know
if they
them.
grew up in China, homie. If
You
they
don't
grew
know
up in
them.
China,
They don't sound like Bam.
they do not sound like Bam. If
You
they
didn't-
grew up
you didn't
in
say that.
Chinatown in Atlanta, they
You didn't-
still don't sound like
You didn't
Bam.
say that. You said Chinese character. You didn't say anything about his background, where he was born, where he grew up.
I want to role play real quick. Bam, I'm going to call you. I want you to answer the phone the way you answer the phone. Ring, 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 ring.
Yellow.
This dude says, yellow,
Every time.
every time. Yellow. Like,
I do.
what? It took me a little while to realize that he was saying hello, but
No, really, I'm saying the color yellow.
I know.
Like, that's me. Like, I say yellow.
But you're saying hello. Yellow.
That's your greeting.
That's his greeting is yellow.
Yellow.
And I went,
Yeah.
are you saying yellow? And he went, yeah. No one on the planet talks like Bam.
For some reason, like, when I answer the phone, like, when I used to answer the phone, I used to say hello.
Hello.
I always had Medea in my head. It was like perfect Medea.
Every time you call him. Hello.
Hello.
So it's funny you mentioned that about me answering the phone. I can't remember where I saw it, but in the past month, I remember seeing someone else. They were talking about it on a, I don't know if it was a podcast. Like, I'm pulling this out thin air, but I saw somewhere else where someone said they answered the phone like that. I wish I could remember who it was now.
I know a bunch of rednecks, hillbillies that say yellow. Yeah, man. All right, man. Yeah, boy.
No,
get
I
your-
legitimately just said the color
And
yellow.
you- But they sound like Boomhauer. I know some people that sound like Boomhauer. They like their Xanax too much. They all right, man, you know that. They talk just like that. And the sad part about this, the sad part is after about a day or two of hanging around them, I start understanding their language. It's like I can understand them. And my dad, he's got a real raspy voice, and Jimbo, and he's like, I can't even do it. But he'll say some shit, and I'll be like, it's over there, and over yonder, or whatever. And then Taylor say, how the hell did you understand him? I was standing right next to you. I understand it. I understand that stuff. After just a little while, I start picking up on their ers and their ands, and I understand their damn language. What does that say about me? ADHD, that hyper focus, baby. Let's go.
I had to translate for my sister. We went to Kentucky one time.
You had to translate in Kentucky?
Yes. My sister did not understand our waitress. Could not understand her. And I had to focus to understand.
But you got it.
I had to make eye contact and like.
Allegedly.
Got it.
Allegedly.
She wants to know what you want to drink. And so my sister, she wants to know what side. Like, dude, I'm not joking. You could call my sister right now and she'll tell you.
I believe you. There's some people out there. I do it. I know when my dad's around, he'll say something and everybody will look at me. I'll look at them and tell him what he said. And then he'll say something and they want me to tell him, like, no, he can hear you. He understands English.
You can respond. I can translate.
Yeah. I'll just tell you what he said, like, because you don't understand. But it's funny to me. Anyway, so jiu-jitsu. What made you bring him in? I want to get to him in a minute, but what was it you that decided to bring him, or?
Yeah, I brought him without telling him.
Is it what you expected? Is it what you expected, or is it more? Or
hold on, that was funny to me. You just like, hey, we're going somewhere, and then just showed up. Like, all right, we're at gym. You gonna go in?
I'd already called and made the appointment and everything. And then the next day, I was like, so after school, we're going somewhere. So where? I was like, jiu-jitsu. He's like, what is that? I'm like, you're gonna fight some people. He's like, no. Yeah, let's go.
You're gonna fight some people. Well, it's Fight Club. I can't really tell you about it because we can't talk about Fight Club.
Number one.
We just broke rule number one.
Rule number two. You don't talk about Fight Club.
So everyone listening right now, you just got indoctrinated. Like you have to come now.
Now you have to come.
Come get jumped in.
And so, what did he say? Like he just went.
Yeah, he went with it. I saw the ad on Facebook, and I'd seen it a couple weeks before. And then he started having some trouble at school. We had talked about taking him to see a therapist and just exploring different options to help him because he was dealing with some bullying. And he's a new kid here. We just moved here in June. And he had some trouble at the last school, his attitude and choosing the wrong groups to be with. It's his main issue. He wants to be with the cool kids. The cool kids are the kids that you shouldn't be friends with. You know.
Damn it, Bam, that counts us out, man. He can't be friends with us.
I've never been in the cool kids group.
You are now. You're the cool kid.
And now you're the cool kids.
Yeah.
But I'd seen it, and I was like, me and my girlfriend already talked about therapy and got him scheduled to that. I'm like, yeah, we'll do that. I go, but I want to explore this option too. Because I think a big issue is he just doesn't have anything to work toward. Mm-hmm. If you have no goals, you have nothing to work toward, you have nothing going on.
How you know that?
Experience. Like I said, getting 300 pounds from just sitting at the house, you learn that you need something to do every day.
I learned that. I was over 300 at one time.
Pick heavy shit up, set heavy shit down. Let's go.
Let's go. And it don't even have to be that. Like, you just need something to discipline you and to put your mind and energy toward, especially somebody who's getting ready to go into puberty, starting to hit that area. As a kid, I can remember, just going out and punching trees because I just had this aggression in me that I didn't know what to do with.
Because you're a man.
Because you're a man, yeah. Well, I had sisters, and my mom's like, if you're going to hit something, go hit a tree. Okay.
I
can do that.
That sounds right. And you know what's funny is a lot of people listening won't understand that.
No.
They just don't. And it's funny is like there's a statistic that I thought was amazing, and this is like It's known, but nobody ever says it this way. And this statistic blew my mind. I'm not going to give you the number because if I give the number, everybody's going to talk about how I was wrong because I don't know the exact number. But you always hear if you remove the father from the home, the child is more likely to end up in prison. And I want to say the number's like 78% or more,
Right.
like a little higher or whatever, end up in prison. Or upward of 90% end up in trouble with the law. And those percentages may be off a little bit, so don't hold me to those specific numbers. But it's like somewhere
That's
around in
pretty
there.
close.
Yeah.
I've seen
Point
that
is,
today.
it increases.
The point is that, but they always say a fatherless household, right?
Mhm.
And they say the household's better with both parents. That's how they say
That's
it.
how they say it.
But that is not true. The truth is
Single
that
mother homes.
single mother homes, if single fathers homes have the same exact statistics of success as a home with a mother and a father in it.
Exactly.
It has the same exact success. And here's what I believe. Now, I haven't looked at the research or whatever. I believe wholeheartedly that men have the ability to understand emotion. They have the ability. We're not all crying and emotional, but we have emotional intelligence to be able to help children with their emotions. We can help them with their emotions. And we can discipline them and remove our emotions and hold them to that standard even when it hurts us.
Right.
Where the other side of that is like it's hard for most women because they are natural caregivers. They are naturally loving people. They don't want to see their child upset. They don't want to do it, and they don't hold to their that standard that we set or whatever it is. And I think that's why those statistics are that way.
Well, I mean, like you take the homes where you have both parents, and whenever a child generally does something wrong, the mother's like, "Wait till your father gets home."
Yeah. Why is
You
that?
know.
Why is that?
Because the child knows that the dad's going to be more strict,
Exactly.
and even if it's not that I don't want to come home and be the bad guy.
No, I don't want to be the bad guy at all.
But
It sucks.
when you mess up, somebody's got to be the bad guy. But if you can do it respectfully and explain why you're having to do that, the relationship grows. Like
Yeah.
me and CJ, our relationship's grown a lot since we moved over here and got away from all the females in our lives who were trying to micromanage everything.
Right. So, I had a thing where whenever I was living where I came from, it always started with when I got in trouble. It could have been like something from me accidentally dropping my baby cousin, or something as severe as like bad word at school for no reason whatsoever, just to say it. So it usually started off with my aunt gave me a whooping, my other aunt gave me a whooping, and then my uncle did. And then they waited till my dad had gotten home so he could do it too. And
So you said a bad word and you got fucked up 4 times. Did you get a
Sir.
whipping 3 times, 4 times?
4 times, sir.
Oh, man.
But
Mm.
what they started doing too
Just started
Yes.
beating that kid, man.
is when my dad was at the gym, they used to drop me off so he had to deal with me. It made him very mad. That's why we decided to get away, because I mean, they were being narcissistic. Like, it was basically like every single time I go down there now, it's like they're putting me in a cage and pushing me down, saying this is where you belong.
So I'll say this, and I was joking and stuff like that, but here's the thing, man. It's like when you allow, it's like you know what you're supposed to do. You know what you're not supposed to do. And when you say things and do things and act a certain way, it's like I know when I do something, there's going to be consequences for those actions. Regardless of what anybody else around me is. We had a kid tonight. They were doing handstand push-ups, and one of them said, I got 5. The other one said, I got 1, but I started to say I couldn't get up I I got bumped by somebody on my second one. It knocked me down. And I was like, okay, how many did you get? 1. Stop there. The excuses on everything else and all the other stuff, you're casting blame. When you cast blame, whether you're making an excuse about any of it, when you do that, you're absolving yourself of the personal credit that you're supposed to take. None of that stuff in the first part of your story would have happened had you been doing what you were supposed to do in school and not talking the way you were talking. Not saying the words that I use regularly, right? That is my one thing that I wish that I hadn't learned at such a young age is cussing and cuss words. It has been one of my hardest habits to break, and everybody that's around me knows if they're going to be around me, they're gonna hear me cuss. And I'll apologize for it constantly. I'll go, I'm sorry. Dang, I'm sorry. And you know, one place that I don't have that problem is when I'm teaching kids class. Yeah. You never heard me cuss in kids class. And I don't know why. I don't try not to cuss. I just don't.
I do. I try not to.
I don't even think about it. I just don't do it. So I know I have the capability of not doing it, but I still do it. And the point is that I was getting at is you cannot allow what other people are doing and other things they're saying affect you in that way. You know what you have to do when you're around certain people. If I'm in front of a judge, I have to say yes, sir. I have to say no, sir. I have to do the things that he's telling me to do, and I have to respond in the way that he's telling me to, or I'm going to go to jail. It's like when you're in front of whoever these people are, whether they're narcissists or not, if you have to be there, then you have to learn to blend in and manage and work within those boundaries. My dad was a drunk. My dad liked to beat the shit out of me. And he beat me up regularly. And then he pretends like he didn't do it. Like now he acts like, oh, I wasn't that bad. I didn't do that. It's like, dude, you was taking me to the liquor store to fight people so you could win your beer money. Him and my Uncle Darren would pick me up and take me down there and be like, let's make him fight that kid. Do you know the first time that I ever felt loved by my dad was when I knocked an older kid out. I knocked out like an 18 or 19-year-old kid. Like, I head kicked him. Bang. He went to sleep. My dad talked about that for months. And then I went, oh, this is how I get him to love.
So, like
this is how I get love. So, and it taught me wrong.
Right, because now that's what you're trying to do every fight.
Yeah.
It's hurt somebody.
Yeah, and it actually, and here's the sad truth of this, and I'll get vulnerable with you guys. I don't care. I'll get vulnerable with you guys. I enjoy it. I truly enjoy the person that I am. Like, I'm a violent person. I struggle every day to not be a violent person. I struggle with it every day to be a good person. Because I just want to, I legit, like, just want to call everyone around me out on their bullshit and just tell them how, whatever it is that they're doing, I just want to call them out. And then it's like, well, you don't like it? Let's fight about it. Let's yell at each other. Let's do whatever you want to do, homie. It's like, you could beat me up. Okay, that's fine. Because there's something inside of me that enjoys that. I don't enjoy fighting. I'm not the guy that everybody talks about. It's like, I love fighting. I love fighting. I think those guys are liars. They enjoy winning fights.
Right.
They don't enjoy fighting. I enjoy both sides of it. Whether I'm winning or losing, I just enjoy being there. And I think that's what separates me from a lot of these other guys. So I went on this big tangent, I'm sorry, and like talked about all that stuff. But I'll tell you, man, I wish that I had someone in my life that was caring enough about me to teach me that it's okay for a man to cry. And it's like, if it's okay. Obviously, there's like, you're not gonna be the guy that women are choosing if you're just all emotional and you're all crying all the time and stuff. Like, you're not gonna be. And people want to tell you, and women even tell you, yeah, you can cry. A man can cry. A man can cry. No, you can't. Not really. Not really. Because if you do, then in their eyes, in their biology, they go, he can't protect me. He's weak. But I'm here to tell you, it is okay. You find the comfort people and someone that you trust, like your dad or someone, and then you cry, and then you tell them, and you find that person that you can like have those emotions with, and when you talk and you like, that's okay. it is okay. It's just, for me, I wish I would have had someone a lot sooner help me with that mental side of me, because, dude, I do not know the person that I am really, because I pretend to be this nice person every day. It's like I pretend to be nice. I pretend to be this person that it fits in society. But I know mentally, I know that I'm outside of there. I know it. And it's funny because you pretend to, I've always heard you pretend to be something long enough, you become that person. I just don't believe it because I am violent by nature.
But at the same time, I mean, if you look at Jordan Peterson, what he has about should a man be weak or should a man be a monster? Just have that under control. Is that not where you're at? Like, you have the monster in you, but you have the monster under control?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Because a good man is not a weak man, and a weak man cannot be a good man.
Right.
A good man is a strong man who chooses when to be strong and when to be the monster he has to be.
Yeah, he has a lot of good quotes. I like that one about difference between harmless and peaceful.
Yeah.
Talking
I
about-
love Jordan
Yeah.
Peterson, man. He's just, yeah, and I think that that's where I am. I do think that that's where I am. But I fight that every day, and it's about simple, stupid stuff. And it's like, I'm not the guy's like, what are you looking at? I have never in my entire life went and looked for a fight. I'm not that guy. So it makes it sound like I'm sitting here going, blah, blah, blah. I'm not, man. I'm not that guy. But I'm also not the guy that's going to let someone be any type of way, because I'm just patiently waiting for a group of ninjas to jump out. I've been training my whole life for a group of ninjas to attack me. I watched these kung fu movies and stuff when I was a kid, and every 5 minutes they're getting their ass whooped by some ninjas, and I've been waiting, and it just ain't happened, man.
Life's a lie.
Well, you have random people. Like, there was the one at our buddy's house where you just had your mouth guard, like, oh, okay. And the owner of the house was like, the one guy out here, and you chose Jimmy. Man,
Okay.
like, you chose the wrong one.
I did have my mouth guard. I was ready.
Yeah, like, because he was talking reckless, and you're just like, okay. And you just had your mouth guard, so. And the guy's like, just got a mouth guard ready to go? Like,
Yes. Please. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been training my whole life for this shit.
and the owner of the house is like, yeah, you chose the one guy out here. Like, dude.
The one guy. Nah, man. Wade said he's getting a ninja costume for sure. He said it's happening. I'm for real though. Like, as a kid, I thought that shit would happen a lot more often than it has.
Never.
Ninjas. It's never happened.
Never. You're just really good at the shadow game.
Yeah, they're just secretly waiting for me to get more and more injured so they can take me.
Yeah, I got that thing too where, like, I've always been at school and wanted people to just walk up to me and just be like, let's go. And I'm like, I don't have my mouthpiece. Dang it.
I don't have my
I have my
mouthpiece.
mouthpiece.
I don't have my. We can't do it today, guys. Listen, the way my bank account's set up, I got to move it from my bank into my
I've
savings.
had these days where I just want to wear my rash guard to school so I could be that cool person just rips off my shirt and be like, let's go.
You can be like,
He's just
I've been
waiting.
on this.
You can do.
He's
so
just
you
a
ever
menace.
seen us? I know you've seen me or Coach Jimmy, our mouth guard. If we're talking, we'll put it behind our ear and just
My
work.
dad
wear it
always
on
told
school.
me, like,
Gauge.
Oh, y'all, I have this story. This is one of. I shouldn't be embarrassed about this, but this is like one of the stories that I think back and I just get it kind of like, you idiot. Like, you know, like that, when you think about something you done or said and you go, you dummy. Like, I was in 8th grade and I had just won like this kickboxing tournament, and I wanted to try out for football. And I had never played football. Like, never. Like, I mean, never. And I was like, we moved to this new place. I just won this tournament and I had my mouthpiece. So I'm in class and what you laughing about?
I'm just picturing this.
Yeah.
Because I've heard most of your stories. I don't think I've heard this one.
Yeah, well, I was in 8th grade and I'm sitting there and I had my mouthpiece in my hand and I just set this joker on on my ear all the time. It was just sitting on my ear. So like I go into class and I put this mouth guard on my ear. So it's like covering my ear. And I'm just like, it's a normal day. I'm walking in my class and I sit down and I'm talking and the teacher starts talking to me and I just pull this mouth guard off and I'm like chewing on it and I stick it back to my ear and it like got wet a little bit and then it stuck to my ear. And Jackie Baxter looked at me and he goes, "That motherfucker ready." He ready. And the teacher said, "What'd you say?" "He ready." And I was like, she was like, "What are you talking about?" "That man don't give a shit. He's just bring it." And he just starts like this whole comedy set, like picking on me about having slobber on my ear, about chewing on my mouth guard. He just waiting for some shit to pop off. And
So he wasn't really picking on you, but he was just making observations.
But he was just like bringing attention to me.
Got you.
In the middle of class, and here I am with this friggin' wet, slobbery earpiece on my ear. Mouth guard on my ear, hanging there. And I remember going home like, I am never bringing a mouthpiece back to class because that man made fun, or he didn't make fun of me, but he was just talking shit. Somebody try him. Somebody try him. Somebody get this man. Somebody get this. He's ready for some violence. And he's just talking shit all day long because we just changed classes together.
It's scary. He wanted something.
And he was just like trying to pop something out, and my face just got as red. And I just felt silly. And when I think about it, it's funny to me. And he's like, "Oh, he gonna show up and he gonna hit somebody with his damn helmet. You know he's ready." And he's just making up all of these jokes at my expense.
You should have asked him, like, "You want to try it? You want to run it?"
Yeah. But
No, at that point, he's just like, "I don't want to be here."
why? And then some other people are like, "Ooh, he put that on his ear." Like you hear the other comments
Yeah.
and stuff. But I just remember thinking about that shit, and
Never again.
never again. I'll keep this in my bag. So I always have my mouth guard. My mouth guard's in my bag.
Right.
I'm always ready.
I'm sitting out there on the bench right now.
But
Just got done.
Wade said, "How to get kicked out of school by Bam Bam." I guess that was from a conversation earlier. But all right, so I just rambled for like 37 hours. Dude, I think your story is amazing. You got your kid in here because of an ad. You was talking about counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't ever stay on subject. It doesn't matter. You're talking about counseling. Has he been to counseling?
Yes.
Yes. Are y'all finding progress in that, or do you think this is it? Do you think this was the way? Like, honestly.
I think it's a combination of the two. The biggest thing that we're getting out of counseling is they have a test. It's almost like Jordan Peterson's test. Know yourself.
Have you done that?
I did.
I did too.
Yeah.
And I was like, all of it, I was like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. I seen one. I'm like, this ain't me. But then I got to thinking about it. It's me.
It's me.
It's 100% me. And I was like, this shit is too fucking accurate. It'll tell you some shit you don't want to know about yourself.
Right. And it explains a lot of stuff that you don't understand about yourself.
Yeah.
That's what we mean. Like, me and Michelle both did it, and then you can link them together and see how you compare to each other.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I probably should get Taylor to do that.
Absolutely.
I did not know that. But I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, so they have a similar one that they had him take before he went to the first counseling session, and it breaks it down into what kind of personality traits you have, whether you are melancholic, phlegmatic, or
The other one.
starts with S. Anyway,
Systematic.
sanguine, and it gives you a degree on different aspects of your life on how much of these traits you have. And so whenever he sat down, he starts talking to CJ, and he's like, "So just tell me about yourself." He's like, "Well, I like people." He's like, "Really? This is supposed to be 98% accurate. I'm waiting for the 2% that's not, but you may be one of them, because that's not what this says at all." The more he started talking, he's like, "Okay, so it's not that you like people. You want people to like you. You don't care what people think. You just want them to like you." And so he can break it down into that. And then from there, he told us, how to discipline CJ, because it was completely different than what I thought. I'm used to, like, you mess up, you get grounded. The more you mess up, the longer you get grounded. He's like, 48 hours tops, because he disassociates punishment from the action after 48 hours. So If he messes up, you take it away, give it back the next day. If he messes up again, you take it away again. But at least he had it back, and now he can associate the action with the punishment instead of disassociating and then I'm the bad guy and the punishment is because I'm just being mean. So that correlating between how he thinks, how he learns, and his personality traits compared to mine, we're able to communicate better because I can understand where he's coming from. Because before I'm like, this ain't how I think. Like, I don't understand you.
Yeah.
Now I can understand how he thinks and how he understands things, and it helps me to kind of negotiate those conversations. You know, like, he messes up, and instead of having a 3-hour conversation about it, I'm like, all right, 15 minutes, we're going to get to the point, we're going to get off of it, because otherwise he's drifted off in the la-la land somewhere.
Right.
And he don't hear anything I say. Then I just get frustrated because I'm like, why are you not even looking at me? So I'd get it to the point. This is what happened. This is what you did. Tell me what you think about it.
Dude, I love that. What do you think about it?
Right.
I love that question. I think I made a post about it a while back.
It's a thing, because if you don't ever ask them, all right, so why do you think you did what you did? What can you do better next time?
That's it. Those questions. Dude, I love that you said that. So I got into a debate with one of my friends. I'm not going to name drop them or whatever because I don't want to put their business out there. But they talk about whipping their kids. Not whipping their kids. Whipping versus not whipping. They said, I think that's abuse. They think that spankings are abuse. And I could see that because my dad was very abusive, right? And he beat the shit out of me all the time. And a lot of people associate that with spankings, right? But here's the problem. If you just spank a kid without those questions and those thoughts and having those thought processes, then that is abuse.
Right.
You know? It's like, oh, it's not abuse, I just whooped him. Yeah, you're saying do what I say or I'm going to hit you.
Right.
That's the message you're sending. But if you spank a kid after they say, this is what I done, this is why I done it, I know I wasn't supposed to, and all that. The spanking is not to hurt them. It's to make them remember the lesson.
Right.
Because when trauma happens, your brain goes, oh, I need to learn so this doesn't happen to me again. And the argument is it changes the brain when you get a whipping and like that type of stuff. It changes the brain. It absolutely does change the brain because that's what happens when you have trauma or whatever. Your brain releases a chemical and it makes everything seem slower. Time is different. Everything's different. If you spank without the lesson, then you don't learn.
Right.
So you have to ask the questions. And then after it, you have to ask, what do you think we can do moving forward? It's like, what do you think? How do you feel? Here's the thing, dude. I don't like doing this, but I need you to understand that I love you. The people in the real world don't. They don't care about you the way that I do. You have to learn this lesson here, because if you get disrespectful or sideways out of your mouth at someone like Jimmy in public, he's going to leg kick you, and he's going to punch you and knock you out in front of your girlfriend, and then it's going to be bad, you know? So that happens, you know?
So what?
Did
Like,
happen. I never had those talks. Go ahead, CJ.
No, I want you to go ahead.
I was about to say, I got whooped growing up. I wouldn't consider abuse, but I never had them talks either. But just it, I didn't get whooped for everything. I can count on one hand the number of times my dad whooped me. And to this day, I can probably tell you every single one of those times.
But why can you tell him every one of them times? You knew what you did wrong.
I knew what I did was wrong.
Then you had talks before. It's like, you don't do this.
No, not always. No. Like, I shot my uncle with a slingshot one time.
You knew better than shooting people
Never
with a
had talk.
slingshot. Yeah, so
But
nobody.
I knew better, and it happened.
So your dad never told you when he gave you a slingshot, don't aim towards windows. You keep it in a safe direction. You don't aim at people. He never told you that.
Don't remember that talk at all.
Oh, I'm sure you don't. You remember that ass whooping you got for it, don't
Ran
you?
him over with a go-kart.
Yeah.
Ran my dad over with a go-kart.
You told me that one.
Yeah. As soon as it did, he flipped over. I went ahead and got out and stood beside the go-kart.
Because you
I
knew.
I knew it. Well, I thought he moved. He thought his son wouldn't run him over.
Bam, I'm just be honest
I
with
will
you.
say, he
neither
did
one
sell-
of these
he did.
require to talk.
Exactly.
You don't run people over with
I'm
a
just
car.
saying.
You don't shoot people. Like, these are things that should just,
Be an
maybe
Exactly.
you
That's what
should
I'm
just
saying.
know these
I'm
things.
saying the go-kart incident, I didn't just get an ass whooping. He sold that thing too.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
You run
And
me
then
over
the
with a
third
golf
time-
cart.
I'm not gonna have it again.
Third time, I will say I don't think was completely my fault.
Your
But I-
mama factory reset you.
Oh,
and
she
I
did.
remember that.
Yeah, she factory reset me.
You ever been factory reset?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
He got factory reset.
Oh yeah, I have a span of time I don't remember. I remember saying something I shouldn't have to her, and then waking up for school the next day.
Oh wow.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And I'll pick at her every time. I said, "You factory reset anybody lately?" I did not. He says that. I'm like, "No, you factory reset his ass."
All I know is I'm missing time. Yeah, but that I know the
You
third
don't
time.
even know what she hit him with.
No,
That was
her,
a 1-2.
her back was to me, and she turned, and then I wake up.
The next day.
He wakes up in his bed. She gave that man a concussion.
She just took it in the bed and go, sleep that one off.
Oh, he'd never say this again.
But the third time, I know my dad got me. This one, I don't think I was completely wrong for because it wasn't intentional. It wasn't on purpose.
I agree with your dad.
He asked for the remote.
He made you a good man.
He was in a reclining chair, and he asked for the remote. So I'm like, okay. And I toss it to him underhanded. Guess where it lands?
nuts.
Straight nuts. And I see the look on his face. And even though I know it was an accident, that man is no accident. I immediately start running to the back door, thinking I can beat him. And as soon as my hand hits the doorknob, I feel it. And that's it.
The run is what got you.
Well, I saw his face, and I saw the chair. The recliner was already coming up. And I saw that reaction. I'm like, I got to go.
If you had stood,
That fight or flight hit him.
I got to go.
sorry. I didn't mean to do that, Dad. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It would
if
have been near as bad.
it would not have been near as
I don't-
bad if you'd have just
I don't
stood
think
there and
I don't
said,
think he was in the right mind to listen. Don't think it was that quick for him to calm down. Like, it hit him. That
Running at
noise.
you, that's why he ain't
ugh.
gonna do it.
I'm telling you
That
right now,
recliner
if you
kicking
would have
up.
stood tall and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to," that man would not have beat you. That turn, you hit me in the nuts and then run from me, I'm kicking you back, bro. Full on. Nah.
Why you facing the door?
Yeah. Head first into the door from the back.
Spartan kick into the back.
Yeah. Twins the legs over the door. Yes. No, dude, those tests and stuff, and so the counseling and stuff like that, they told you not to beat him. That's good, I guess. Unless he needs it. Then you just pay me to beat him, and then we beat him that way.
That's right.
I like it. I don't mind at all. You don't care.
The school part of it is the disciplinary area, and it's giving him something to work toward. That is a huge factor in the change that I'm seeing in him, because he never had anything that he wanted to do. It's all video games. You know, I don't want to go do yard work. I don't want to play football. I don't want to do baseball. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be at home and play video games.
Sitting on a couch getting.
You beat me to that subject. I was just about to bring that up.
Do you just want
How-
to play video games?
I never did anything. It was more of I'll sit around, do whatever I want to, and
Or
I
it's,
got-
I want to try this, like baseball. He's
Yeah.
like, I want to play baseball. I'm like, okay, cool.
because
so I signed up
everybody
for
else was
baseball.
doing it. It's like every single time that I went to do something, there was a reason why. It's because everybody else in my school was doing it. So I was like, cool. And right whenever they changed sports, I wanted to change it to a different sport. So like my dad realized the
Or like
continuous behavior.
we went to baseball and like go to the first practice. We get in the car. I'm like, all right, what do you think about it? You have fun?
I don't want to.
Yeah, it's fun, but glad that's over. Dude, we got like 3 months of this. This is day one. You know, we're not quitting. You sign up for something, you're going to finish it out. But kind of need to think about what you want to do before you invest your time into it. If it's not just something you want to jump into like this. And so once I brought him over here, I didn't even give him an option because everything's been a no. You know, you come over here, you want to play football? No, not this year. You try basketball? No. You try this? No. Okay, well, I'm not going to even give you a choice. I'm going to schedule this. We're going to go try it. He had tried kickboxing back home, and he didn't like it. He was working out with a woman, and he didn't like that factor of it. And he's like, "This just ain't for me." Okay, we're going to try this. This isn't kickboxing. This is different.
Moment
I
that
know. he come in and started the class. He did the first class. He's like, I love this. Love this, because he didn't feel like an outcast. As soon as he got here, everybody brought him in. He wanted to be part of the group.
We're all a bunch of weirdos, bud.
Right.
That's why you fit in.
And once he started doing, like, we came back for competition Friday, and he lost. I mean, quick. He's like, I don't like losing. I'm like, we got to get better. If you don't like to lose, that's good.
Yeah.
Get better.
Well, I was about to say, I'm about to have to head out. But I was going to say, CJ said one of the best things I've ever heard from one of our kids. Like, his mindset is right. He's like, man, I just want to get better. Like, so-and-so submits me with something. I ask him, what was that? How'd you do it? Like, I want to be able to compete with him. And for you to recognize that at such a young age, I thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah, that is awesome.
But I got to go, guys.
Yeah, will you turn that off on your way out, please? Yeah, that's no worries. So as far as CJ and stuff goes, I always had trouble with counseling. Like, the only time I was ever in counseling was when it was state mandated. Mm-hmm. Like, I was made because something traumatic happened around our family, and they made us go or something. So I've never had good experiences with counselors, but now I'm hearing people like talk about it. People that are close to me that grew up kind of the way that I did, that talk about how it's helped them in ways. And I guess they're getting better with technology and stuff, but I just find it hard to think that someone can relate to me. And it's like, I hear these stories of people who had it way worse to me, and then I go, oh, well, what I dealt with and stuff wasn't that bad. Like, and it's like, why? Like, I've dealt with it till I'm 38, It's like, what do we do now? Where do we go? But then I hear things like that, and it's telling you everything down to it doesn't exist after 48 hours. It doesn't do this. It's like, nah, he doesn't like people, but he wants people to like him. Like, I know that's who I am. I don't like people. I get nervous and I get talkative when I'm around people. Not because I want to talk. I actually hate that about myself. Through and through, I hate that I talk so much. And I listen to people. And when I'm not sitting in the direct vicinity, I sit off to the side. And when people are on the other side of the mat, I listen. And it's like, I have to remove myself from the group so that I can actually listen. And that was one of the things about this podcast, is I wanted to learn to be a better listener and actually care about what people were saying. That was one of the reasons I started this thing.
That's a good way to do it.
And this is top of my therapy. Like, but the more I'm hearing about people's experiences with therapy and stuff, it's making me kind of want to
give it a shot. Yeah.
Because I know that I got some screwed up stuff and stuff. I think that I think that I know that it comes from my upbringing and things like that. I know that for sure. But I also think that I've done a lot of work and to become the person that I am.
Right.
And I think that this gym and the people that are here speaks to that for me. So in that way, it's like, I'm not the same person. I'm not the kid that everybody voted most likely to be incarcerated, So
I mean, I'm kind of the same. Like, you get this mentality about yourself where I don't want to open up and talk to somebody I don't know. Yeah. And so, like, any time anybody's ever mentioned therapy for any reason, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I got me. I got me. I can read a book. I go find somebody who knows something, and I read about it. I
mean, shit, dude, you recovered and everything on your own.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, after seeing how much it's helped with CJ and getting to talk to the guy and understand a little bit of the process, I'm like, maybe that isn't a bad idea to just talk to somebody. Something I need to do. I don't know. We're all screwed up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing about bodybuilders. Like, every bodybuilder's crazy. You have to be crazy to do the stuff that bodybuilders do. To diet down to competition weight, you gotta be crazy. to go in every day and lift heavy weights and tear your muscles up till you go home so you're hurting and be like, that was good.
Yeah.
Good. Can't wait till tomorrow to do it again.
It takes a special
Twisted.
type of person to do that, man.
Same time. I don't think therapy's as big of a boogeyman as what I used to think it was.
I always thought therapy was like, so you're weighing down. I literally said this to the person that was doing therapy. I think that you're supposed to lay on a couch, somebody sitting next to you with a chair, and they're just writing down all your feelings that you're saying.
How does that make you feel?
There was
So the first session we went in, he's like, so how do you feel about your session when it's getting close to being over? It's like, how do you feel about it? Did it go well? He's like, it ain't what I was thinking, because I figured I'd be laying on the couch and I just talk, and you'd be like, well, how does it make you feel? And I just talk. Just like having a conversation with somebody who's, well, that's all we're doing is having a conversation. If you want to lay down, I can let you, but
I need to lay down on this couch.
Yeah. But he was a really cool guy. We just talked to some people at church and asked if they knew any Christian counselors. Went that route with it instead of trying to find somebody else.
Was that important to you that they were Christian?
It's not to me, but not knowing anything about the area or any doctors to go through, just asked some people we trusted for somebody that they recommended, and the members of the church had used that with their whole family. They got a large family. If you'll back him, we'll give it a shot. Take recommendations.
Nice. That's cool, man. And like I said, I got friends that have had rough lives and stuff that started doing it, and they're praising it. And I'm still that reluctant person. I'm just like, man, I just don't see it. Here's the thing, and I'll say it. Whatever. I talk too much anyway. I don't think that someone who hasn't seen the things that I've seen, like seen visually as a child and stuff like that, seen the things that I've seen, I don't think that they can relate to me in a way that's meaningful in that way.
But
does that make sense? And then it's like, you haven't been there, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. Mm-hmm. At school, my dad was drunk. My mom was on drugs and stuff, right? And then my mom was sick with lupus. So like she was in and out of the hospital. She was a nurse, but she couldn't stay and work because she would get sick, and then she would have to get a job somewhere else after she got better, and then she'd get sick again, and it was just not good, right? And ADHD, my mind just jumped from a whole nother subject. But so my mom was sick and stuff, and like she was drugs. She would do drugs, but because she didn't understand what was wrong with her body. Then she found out she had lupus, and anyway, it was that whole thing. And I got these two things going on, and then I'm the only one working. Like I'm 11 years old, and I'm the only one that's working consistently. My grandma helped us get the house, and then we'd go without lights, and we'd do all this other stuff. And it's like, all right, I got to work. I got to help. I got to do these things. I got to, make some money so I don't get picked on because I only have a couple outfits of clothes, or they're hand-me-downs from my cousin who's a grown person, and I'm half his size. And it's like I got these things, and then teachers would tell me that I don't know about the real world. And it burned me up inside because it come from this judgmental place. Like, you don't know about the real world. You just wait till you get bills. And I got bills. Yeah. It's like, I'm 11 years old. I got bills, dude. I got things I have to do. I leave from here. I get up. The bus picks me up at 5:30 in the morning. Drops me off at 4:30 in the afternoon, and then I walk 3 miles to go to my job where I cut grass, and then I fix skates and fix all this stuff. Like I cut grass. I was a maintenance man. I built the steps. I'd pour concrete. I'd clean the pool. I'd get home at like 1 o'clock in the morning, take a shower, sleep for a couple hours, go back to work. And I did that till I was 18 years old, right? Every day. And I would have teachers telling me that I didn't know about the real world. and it would burn me up. It would make me so mad. And then everybody's like, why are you always so mad? Why are you always so upset? It's because nobody understands. It's like nobody realizes, like, what's going on at home. Like, nobody realizes, like, what's going on here. Nobody gets it. And it's like, then I would be court-ordered because something would happen, and I'd be court-ordered to go to counseling. So whether it was a fight at school or a fight at Jaybird or whatever, wherever I got into a fight or whatever got said at home, a drug bust, whatever it was, I would get put in counseling. And then I would have to sit there and talk about what happened. I'm supposed to talk about what happened and how I felt about that and try to open up to this person that is maybe going to get information from me to lock my mom up, or maybe get information from me to lock my dad up, or maybe I say the wrong thing and then my mom and dad are mad with me. And it's like, oh, well, your experience was that way. That's why you didn't like counseling, because of that. It's like, nah, when you try to talk, they'll tell you how you don't understand what's going on or try to make you fit inside what their reality is. But when you're tough and you're a gangster and it's the worst sin in the world in your family is to call the police. Like, you do not call the police. Because if you call the police, you're never going to see this person again, and you're the snitch. And it's like these poor communities are scared to death of the police. Right. Because they split families up. They take you from us. It's like, if I call them for safety or whatever, because dad's beating my mom, if I call the police on my dad for beating up my mom, they're going to remove us from this house. They're going to take us. So that was bad, right? And then so counseling to me all through that time is like, none of them are going to understand because they don't know the bond that we all have. They don't know what's been said and done, and like what we'll do for our respect. Because I've been taught your word and your name is the only thing you'll ever have, and you can't have one without the other. And if you're a snitch or a rat or whatever, you don't have a name. None of the people that I run with would trust me or have anything to do with me, and then it would ostracize me from the people that I cared about. It's like, man, I've watched my uncles do some bad stuff, dude. And I've watched their friends go to jail for things like for murder and stuff when I was there to watch. And it happened because they're rats and they're snitches. And it's like, nah, man. It's like, I don't want to be that guy. Right. I don't want nobody peeling my skin off. I don't want to do that.
It's a sad thing because I've got kids at my school that are like that have that same problem that you have. It's not much of their family being like being snitches. It's more of they're just afraid to call the police because they don't know what could happen to their family.
I'm still like that.
That's sad.
I'm still like that to this day. It's like you work that out. You figure it out. I'm still that way. It's just instilled in me. Like, that is a unforgivable thing. If somebody called the police on me, I would never forgive them. And I don't know why I'm that way. It's like, if you're calling the police on me, maybe I'm doing something. But that's inside of me, and I still feel that way. So the counseling thing is just like always, that's an avenue for like
trouble you ain't looking for.
Yeah. So it's still hard for me to, and I get it. Like, I'm not in that life no more. Right. Like, the police can come all through my house. We can hang out. Yeah, it's like I'm not that guy no more. Like, I'm not that guy, but I still feel that way in a lot of ways. I still feel like you handle your stuff and
that was always like a similar thing. It's not the same, but similar for me when it came to thinking about going to therapy. I was like, I don't want to say something that gets me put away. I don't want to open up about some thought I have and this dude's crazy,
Yeah,
we can't be in
exactly.
public. Like, we got to get him off the streets or something.
Yeah, this motherfucker's going to kill everybody. Who's the soccer? Yeah.
Hey, I don't want that. I don't want to take that chance. But at the same time, after sitting through the first session with him, it's not like what I thought it would be. It's not them just asking leading questions and trying to get information out of you to try and psychoanalyze what's going on in your head. It's just him talking about, whatever issues bothering him.
Have you done it yourself?
I hadn't got to sit through it myself. No, I thought about it.
Probably should.
Something
Probably be a good thing, especially if you know a good one.
Yeah. I thought about it after seeing the effects it had with him. Because the last session, we didn't even go in. He just took him in and talked to CJ alone. And he came out, and I'm like, all right, was it good? He's like, yeah. I go, do you want to talk about it? He's like, no, not right now. Okay, that's fine.
Because I had that same problem where all y'all had, where I did not want to make my dad mad or my dad be confused about the way that I function. Because the reason most of this is they used to ask me questions, and my automatic answer was, I don't know. And my dad used to try to tell me, I don't know is not an answer. So he really, just to get disciplined, because I've had trouble at school, but most of my thing of, helping me getting better, besides therapy, is definitely jiu-jitsu. It's a more higher rank. But it's more of my dad was trying to understand me.
Dude, having that alone is huge. Having someone that cares about you enough to do those things and to pay for you to be here and to pay for you to go talk to somebody and stuff. There's a lot of people out there that don't have that.
Right.
So that's huge. And I just think it's cool.
Yeah.
And that comes from a place of you doing a lot of your own work, that mental work, and watching you overcome and come from.
Something I don't know how to teach. That was my thing. If I could sit down and be like, you just got to do this. You just got to do this and you'll be okay. If I could do that, I would, but he doesn't learn the way I learn. He doesn't understand things the way I understand things. So me just looking at him being it's like when we were talking about the, was it the Dunning-Kruger?
Yeah,
thing?
Dunning-Kruger
So
effect.
It's kind of the same thing. If I'm looking at life or at the situations he's in, and I'm like, this is such a simple thing. I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I've been through it. But then I have to take a step back and be like, okay, he doesn't understand. He's never been here. He don't have the decades of knowing that this is how life works. Just be like, oh, okay, this is simple. I can just do this. He's not there. So
right.
It takes time for him to comprehend things that should be simple to me. And in my head, I'm like, why are you not just getting this? And I had to learn to take a step away from that and be like, okay, he just don't understand. Legit. How can I help him understand? What kind of tools can I give him to make this process easier for him to learn how to learn, for him to learn how to discipline himself? Because, at his age, I got a book from the library on just kung fu. And I'm like, this is interesting. We didn't have any classes around where I grew up, so I just read the book and we'll do horse stance in the yard for hours at a time and meditate. Just because I'm like, I want to learn something,
That's cool.
And Iron Fist, and I loved Iron Fist because I love hitting stuff. You can't give that discipline and that drive to somebody who doesn't have it, or try to give them that drive when they're not ready for it and don't want it. That's what I've loved about this class, is the more he comes and the more he sees how other people are competing and the level they're at, he's like, I want to be as good as Gabe. Be that way.
He also said, you could be Gabe or even better than that. You could be Jimmy's level.
Why don't you pick somebody, if you're getting this close to being to where you're competing with Gabe and you're competing with the others now, aim higher.
Heck yeah.
Always aim higher.
And that's where focusing on those world champions and focusing on those people that are super, super out there. And that goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning. For me, is my goals are always even when I meet them, it's not enough, and I go more, and then I go more, and I go more. I was so worried about not being good enough to coach. I was so worried about, like, what is my coaches going to say? What is people like Bubby Mitchell? What is Stephen Aiken? What is Chase Rowden? What is Richard Cox? What is Cole Miller? Like, what are these guys going to think if I open a school? Right? And I was like, what are these guys going to say? It was 2 years before I even run an ad when I opened my school.
Just because you didn't want anybody to know?
I wanted people to know. I wanted people to come. But I was scared of what the people that I trained with that were, in my mind, way better than me. They're on God mode, and I'm still learning. I'm still figuring these things out. They're on God mode, right? Yeah. And then here I am trying to learn and trying to build this reputation of saying, hey, I'm good enough to coach. I'm good enough to be this guy. And then at the same time, I'm going, oh, man, like, yeah, I've been doing this a while and all this, but I don't really want to say that I'm capable of this, or I don't want to say I'm this and then be mistaken or misspeak or whatever. And then I would just get paralyzed and not do it at all.
Yeah.
And I'm experiencing that with my YouTube channel now. Same thing. And it's called imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I worked so hard not to be an imposter that I surpassed a lot of people with the mental game, like understanding things on a deeper level. I surpassed people so much in trying to understand it just to mount up to these monsters that I created inside of my head of who these people are. And it's like, and I still do that. I still like bow down and give these guys this edge over me in a way because they were better than me when I started. Yeah. In a lot of ways, and they're still better than me in a lot of ways now, and but I did that, and it's like, all right, I figured out that I could compete at a high level, but then I can coach at a high level, and not everybody can do that. Most competitors make for shit coaches, most of the time. It's because they're competitors. They don't even understand what they're doing on that level enough to teach it. A lot of people can't do and teach. They have trouble conveying what they're doing to teach someone else to understand it.
Right.
And we're finding a lot of success and stuff at our school, and there's no one inside of my school that wasn't brought up inside of my school. There's no one else. There's no other black belts here. Nobody transferred from this school to make our gym better. They've all been built since I started the school. Cool. It's like from the ground up. The only influence they've had is Stephen Aiken we started cross-training with Stephen a little bit over when he moved down. His school's been open for a year and a half, or 2 years. It's been open. He opened a school July 2 years ago. So he's like 2 years into this thing, or a year and a half, whatever. He's 2.5 years. He'll be 3 years in July, maybe. I might be flipping that. It ain't been long. Right. But he's been here, and some of our guys started going over there like a year later. But I was coaching over there. And then coaching here. I was coaching over there twice a week, once a week, twice a week. Then I was coming back and coaching here. So my guys wasn't benefiting a whole lot from me going over there. They were losing me inside the school. But I've always kept myself learning. I'd go over there and train with Steven. I went to Costa Rica to train with Steven. I go to these seminars so that I can still learn because I'm still learning. I'm still getting there. And it's like these guys inside of my school, they're all my guys. Like there's no influence from other thing, and we're doing the damn thing. And that I started realizing, like, oh, wait a minute. Like, it's like my school is really legit. Yeah. It's like we're legit. We got Wyatt like competing and beating some of the guys that are winning these other tournaments that are like the people in the jiu-jitsu community right now. We got Jay Twister and purple belts. Jay trains with Steven now, but it doesn't change the fact that up until that point, he had never trained with Steven, and he twisted a purple belt. He had never been to Steven's school. Like, he met Steven, like, while I was there moving mats around. And then he twisters a purple belt, and he's a white belt. He's a 6-month white belt. So, yeah. And, like, he entered in this tournament and did this thing. Then he went and took gold. Zach Carey, he's only ever lost one match under me. He broke his arm. Like, the guy took him down and caught his arm. But he took a double gold. Right? And I'm starting to realize, like, oh, okay, we're figuring this thing out. I had 2 teenagers beat 2 grown men at the last South Georgia submission. And I say all that to say is, like, I've been around. I don't know why it took me so long to promote, other than the fact that I was worried about what people would say. And when I quit worrying about what people would say and just started focusing on our school, it grew. And it's still growing. And COVID knocked us back a little bit, but we're getting back to a point now to where we're fixing to have to split the classes again. So I think that the whole point of that rant or whatever is like you just gotta full send whatever it is, and you can't worry about what people are gonna think and say, and just do you and practice. And then I don't even remember how we got on the subject. My ADHD, I just started talking about how great I am as a person. I'm just amazing and all this other stuff. But I know that it took a lot of work for me to get to where I'm at, to be the person that I am.
Absolutely.
I know that. And it took me a long time to just want to, like, even tell the world, because I was so worried about
what other people say,
what the people that I thought were better than me was gonna say. Not the people around me. I knew I was better than your average person. I knew that. I didn't realize how good I was until later. I didn't realize how I outworked everybody. I did, dude. I was doing all this extra stuff and all this extra studying because I wanted my school to be legit, and I didn't think I was legit.
Right.
I felt like I had a lot of knowledge and I could help your average person, but if somebody knew something, then I feel like I had to prove something to them because they knew something, and I needed to show them that I knew just as much as them. And then somewhere I let that go. And now when somebody's showing me something they know, I'm like, oh, cool, I might use that. Or, oh, cool, I would never do it that way. But whatever. I don't feel the need to tell them
everything that you know.
Yes. I don't feel that need anymore.
Right.
And I don't feel the need to prove myself anymore. And I think that when I stopped feeling the need to prove myself, it isolated me from a lot of people, because I stopped being that yes man. I stopped being that person that was constantly giving and giving and giving. I was like, hold on, what I have is special. It's like when I started caring more about me and trying to lift myself and be a better person, it's like the people that were around me is like, no man, you're changing. You act different. You're different. You ain't the same. They're like, this school isn't the same. This isn't whatever. And I lost a lot of people that was friends and that was whatever, but they wasn't.
They wasn't. That's
because the moment I opened the school, they wanted to train for free. It's like, if you were really my friend, you would want to invest in my school to keep this thing here. You wouldn't want to take from me, right? And then it's like when I started making it about business 2 years later, because I was worried. I didn't run it like a business in the beginning. Started running like a business, and I started saying, all right, guys.
Dudes are up.
Yeah.
Come on.
We got to pay. We got to do this. This place can't stay here. I want to quit my other job. I want to do that. Then people around me was like, well, nah, man. And they pushed back. And then when I held to my guns, they left me. I didn't have to kick them out. They left.
Right.
And then I built another group of people. And then we started growing. And then like a few years later, I realized like I'm giving too much of my time away. If you need me to help you move or something, cool. We're friends. We can do that. But if you want me to come up here during an off time that's not a class time and help you be your sparring partner and all this other stuff, you need to pay me. This is how I make my living. It's
my
like,
job.
yeah, this is my job. Then it got to like, oh, well, he used to do this and this, and now he won't even do that. He's changed. It's like, no, man, I'm getting beat up. It's like, I'm not your training partner.
Yeah.
And I think that that's Steven and I was talking about that the other day. I think that that's a huge problem in the jiu-jitsu community. It's like all of the coaches still roll.
Yeah.
They still roll. It's like, how many NFL coaches you see out there lining up on the line?
No,
Huh?
none of them.
Well, why?
Because you get beat up.
Well, for one, they don't have the damn body to line up most of the time. But for two, and this is the most important thing, how can they see what's going on the field and what the guys are doing to tell them what they need to do better if they're out there throwing the ball every time amongst them? They can't. They can't see when they can't see the guys a foot out of position. Hey, man, you're over here. Come here. Grab him. You need to be here. Right here. This is where they're coming. This is the hole. Or whatever. I don't know anything about football.
Yeah.
But, like, you got to be here. And you look at that, and then you look at me. I got injured a year ago. I quit rolling. I rolled every single night, every day of my life since I was 18 years old, except for Saturday and Sundays. Those days were for competing or spending time with my family. I rolled every single day. My guys got better when I got hurt. When I hurt my back, my gym leveled up. And I realized that. I realized that I was being their training partner.
Being a coach.
I wasn't being a coach. I was being a body to help them get better. And when I stopped rolling, and I started sitting back and watching my guys.
See, no, you're not doing that right.
Hey, man, you need to get on your hip. You need to move here. You got to push their head. You got to steer. When I started being not just a coach during regular class, but a coach during live sparring, everybody in the gym leveled up.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized that when I got hurt.
You can see that in the kids today whenever they were doing their drills. And you had them broke off, and Bree, she did so well. And you were working with CJ, and you're like, no, do this. Fire off here. Put your foot like this.
Yep.
Those things is what makes a difference.
And if I was rolling, those things wouldn't happen.
You couldn't see.
And it's so funny, though, but you'll have veterans in the sport. Oh, if your coach don't roll, he's not legit. If you knew how many times I heard that growing up and coming through things. If your coach don't roll, he's not legit. If your coach don't roll, he's not legit. And it's like, I have rolled, and I have all this other stuff, and I can roll, and I'm really good at it. I enjoy it. It's my favorite part. It's why I wanted to open a gym, because I wanted to be a coach, and I enjoy hurting people. It's like, best of both worlds, and I want to do it all the time. But but that's the thing. It's like, now I'm realizing that's not true. I need to pick a day or pick a time and say, 3 p.m., that's my time to train. So 3 p.m., my group comes that I'm training. I'm a training partner. This dude's coaching. I'm the training partner. I need to pick that time. And for me right now, I haven't been doing like I'm supposed to. And Steven knows that he's going to hold me accountable. I haven't been showing up like I'm supposed to. But I go to Steven's at 6 a.m. And then I do the stuff, what I can with my hurt back. But I still go. And that's my time to train. And then I come here, and it's time for me to be a coach, not a training partner. Right. And I realized, man, that's where everybody's going to get good. Anyway, I rambled. I was going to let CJ, I think he got bored and went to the bathroom or whatever. I was going to let him talk about jiu-jitsu and how it changed his life before I closed off. But I always ask this question before I get off, and this is always the most fun part for me. Have you ever been in a fight? If the answer is yes, you can pick one or two of your funniest ones or the best ones or the most entertaining ones and tell me a story to make it feel like I was there witnessing it. So have you ever been in a fight? And if so, pick one that you can give me a visual, because this is fun to me. And if you go back through all of my podcasts, every time I have a guest, if it's just me, Bam, and Taylor, after their first ones, they don't do it anymore. But every time I have a new guest, that's the question that I ask, and it's the most fun part for me.
Okay. Yes, I've been in fights.
Question: have you been in a fight since you lost your leg?
No.
Oh man. Okay. Is it because your temperament changed, or because nobody's just ever tried you? Both.
Both. Initially, I still had the same temperament, so it was still the same. You know, there was a couple times where people tried to try me before I even got a prosthetic, and I'm like, sit on the ground.
That's great.
Come on. You know, I'm on crutches. I'll throw the crutches down. We'll sit down. We'll go. And
That's funny.
oh, there's one night, man. Me and my buddy, and he didn't mean anything by it. Like he was a funny guy. He's a big dude, probably 450.
Oh God.
Huge trucker guy. And so we're sitting at Huddle House. I'm on crutches. We're all just sitting in there because that's where we hung out at. He comes in, he sits down, and like we're all shooting jokes and shit and whatnot. He's like, I'll be right back. Well, all right, cool. So he walks outside and he comes back. He's like, Greg, found a perfect job for you. I got you an application. I'm like, okay. He puts his application down for IHOP. He goes, you can stand up front and say IHOP for IHOP. One leg hop. Like, you motherfucker. You know,
Gonna knock his face off.
And
Yeah.
so, like, I start throwing fat jokes. He starts throwing cripple jokes. We get heated. And I'm like, take your fat ass out there and sit in the parking lot. I'm about to stomp your ass. And our buddy Danny's sitting over there. He's like, cripple fat. De-escalates the entire situation because it's funny as shit. But, yeah, there's a fight. One of the first ones I ever really got in. High school fight club come out, and so everybody wanted to start a fight club. I was working out then. I was a fit guy. I wasn't nowhere near where I'm at now. And everybody come up, but hey, Greg, you need to come to fight club. You need to come to fight club. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I've not even seen this movie. They're like, come to the tennis course. We do it at the tennis course. I'm like, nah. So about 3 weeks go by. I won't go. And then finally I'm like, fuck it. Went to Walmart, got me a mouthpiece.
Smart. Wants his teeth.
Yeah, I ain't fucking my teeth up. And I show up at the tennis courts, and they're like, all right, rule is, your first night you got to fight. I'm like, I'm here.
Question.
Yeah.
What did you wear?
Did
you like wear a wife beater and some basketball shorts or some blue
I
jeans?
had like some jeans on and a T-shirt, and I got there and I pulled the shirt off. Whenever they start getting ready to glove me up. So they just had gloves and stuff. They're trying not to hurt each other, I guess. So I pull my shirt off, throw some gloves on. I'm like, all right, we ready? Oh, yeah. Like, so who I'm fighting? They're like, oh, shit. We didn't think that far ahead. No, nobody wants to fight, right? And there's this one little dude, and, man, he was probably 5'6", 110 pounds.
So you beat up a midget.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. He said, yeah. I'm just kidding.
He's one of the weird kids, right? So he had, like, the long hair, and he wore baggy pants, and, you know, just one of the outcast kids. And he comes in, he's like, I'm not afraid of you. I'll fight you. I said, okay, cool. We'll spar. And so he had this long hair. And so he took his glasses off. He gets gloved up. And we start sparring, and I just start tagging him. And every time I tag him, his hair is falling in his face. So I can't see I'm doing any kind of damage. I just know I hit him, and he flies, and he gets up, and he comes back. He'll swing at me, and I'll tag him again. And so finally they stop the fight, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the fence and, you know, talk to this guy. So I walk over and I'm like, hey, man, you know, I appreciate you at least standing up to fight me when nobody else would. And he, like, leans up like this, look at me when he does his hair part. He looks like a fucking elephant, dude.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You gave this man brain damage.
I mean, I've been wearing this dude out. And I'm like, ooh, shit, man, I'm sorry about that. He's like, what? I'm like, don't look in the mirror. Like, just don't.
That's great.
Yeah, it was some fun stuff.
Oh, man. Is that one of the only times, or is that?
No, I fought a lot growing up. I enjoyed it.
Gotcha.
Tell me another one I kind of missed out.
Hmm?
So can you tell me another one I kind of missed out?
Another one?
Tell me another fight.
Let him ask you the question he wanted to ask you while you were gone.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu. Like, now that you're a part of it and you've been here and all that stuff, like, you found it, obviously, and you enjoy it and stuff. How does it affect you now? Like what made you come back? Like, did it change your life? Like, what do you want to say about jiu-jitsu? Like, all of that stuff.
So I'm gonna start.
Talking to the mic, bud.
I'm gonna start from the very beginning. So when my dad first came out to me and told me about this. He was saying how, what was it he said? He was telling me how, like, we were going to go do something. So I was like, cool. We get there. There's, like, a mat, like, a few people in there. I'm like, so we're having a day? I'm like, dang.
Speak up. Talk, man. Use your
Sorry.
voice. What are the 3 things?
Speak clearly, stand tall, and keep eye contact.
That's what we need to do right now. The camera's right there.
I think it'd be creepy just to stare right at
You don't have to stare at the camera. You can stare at your dad. It's far enough away to look like you're looking at the camera.
it. All right. So,
And talking to that mic, man. Yeah. There you go. You don't have to lean down. You can move that thing. It's on an arm. Let's talk.
so when I first started, it was more of a weird experience because there wasn't very many people at the gym that I was coming to at Tect. And so my journey through this has just taught me how even though you don't know as much as the other people, there's still going to be people that, like, be there for you. Like Gabe, Hunter, Bree. They're people that have helped me when I've been here. And then also coaches, like Coach Jimmy, Coach Bam, Coach Day Day. I can thank them for getting to where I am.
So you're saying you got a support group? Is that like a
Right.
Are you saying that they just helped you with jiu-jitsu, or you just feel like you belong?
I feel like I belong here. And not just that. It's more of how right now my back is still hurting from like a few weeks ago. And I still choose to come because I want to get better at what I do.
How'd you hurt your back?
That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. We haven't looked at it just yet. So it might have been that I pulled something, though, when I was rolling on comp.
You gotta let yourself heal too, man. You gotta take that time too. So your dad brought you in. Your dad walked you through the door. What was your first thought?
Why my coach look like this?
What?
Like, really, I'm being honest. What went through my head was, oh, yeah, this dude's going to look like Bruce Lee or something, like buffed up, tank top. Nope. Like, I'm not trying to be rude here.
No, go ahead. You say what you thought.
Like,
I want to know because I might need to change the way I appear.
Like, he looked like a really skinny beach bum. He was like one of those dudes that's like wants to go surfing with you. Yo, what's up, dude? You want to go surf that wave?
A skinny beach bum. You talking about Bam, right?
Yeah, I mean, I see him like that too.
He said,
I
yeah.
still see him like that too.
Is that me or Bam?
It's both.
Oh, okay.
Like,
both
y'all
of
look
us.
y'all look like
Bam
surfer
was
guys.
wearing board shorts. I'm sure of it.
Oh, he was. He's wearing those crocodiles today, and I was like,
and an oversized hoodie.
Yeah.
oversized hoodie. I have that same thing. Like, I saw him wearing that, so I started wearing my oversized hoodies.
Yeah.
Must be like Bam.
Wanna be
Hey,
like, bam.
Bam's a gangster, dude. People don't realize that. Bam is good. If y'all met Bam when he come in, you'd been like, he's a punk. Y'all, Bam was on his weight loss journey. We've done a podcast about it, but he was on his weight loss journey. And he come in, I wouldn't let him roll. I didn't want him to roll because I feel like we would have run him off. Like, I would not let him roll. That dude was here for like a month before, maybe 2, before I let him roll with somebody. Because I knew that if he got smashed or wet blanketed, he wasn't coming back. But now he's literally the best dude in the room. He's literally the best dude. I'm glad he's not watching. He's not going to go back and watch this. He don't like to watch the ones he's on. But I want to give him his brown belt. I'm a brown belt. I've been training forever, and I'm a brown belt. I don't have my black belt. I'm going to have to ask my coach if he'll give him his brown belt. Because Bam's been training for this year be 5 years, 6 years. This year be 6. So August to be 6 years for him that he's been training, and I want to give him his brown belt.
That's awesome.
I was like, I've been training for 21 this year,
Right.
or 22 in April, and
6.
in 6 he's learned a lot. There's still a lot of stuff that I help him with and stuff like that, but when you compare him to other brown belts and other people from other schools, he's leaps and bounds ahead of these people. I want to give him his brown belt.
Right.
So he don't know
I was
that.
watching him roll when he was having an adult class, and I told CJ, I'm like, watch Bam.
Bam's so good.
Watch what he's doing right now.
And he lost. He was 320 pounds when he started. He's 180 now.
Yeah.
He got down to 165, but he just looked sickly.
Too little.
Yeah, I told him, I said, you need to bulk up. We had that talk that I was asking you earlier, like when you get too small.
Right.
So you got to start eating again or do less.
Yeah.
You got to pick.
Got to pick one.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
it's all right. So I had the thing where,
And talk up.
okay,
I don't want to turn this volume up anymore.
okay. So another thing that I could say is how I used to go to the gym a lot with my dad, and I always felt really cool walking in with a tank top, even though I had like no muscle whatsoever. I had like enough to show like 2 things of a 6-pack. And
Get that 6-pack on.
and then when I got into this, I was like, there's no way I'm bulking up this much like so fast.
Gaining weight, getting thicker, building
Yeah.
muscle tone.
It was awesome. I mean, it's like I went, like we did pictures first. So like I started off just being like a flat right here. And now it's like, it's gone to like fully definition 6-pack almost. And I want to get like right here too.
So you walked in and you see 2 beach bums and you're like, these are my coaches.
Yes.
And I remember you telling me specifically that you could whoop me. Or that you, what did he say? Hold on. He didn't say he could whoop me.
No, because
That he would whoop me. Not that he can whip me, but that he would whoop me.
And
What did he say?
I just didn't
No,
know-
he said
I was trying
he
to
could have hurt you, but he chose not to.
Yeah,
That's what he
I
said.
could've
broke
broke
you. I could have
I
broke
could have
you,
broke
but I
you,
chose
but I chose
not
not
to.
to.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah, guys, this man told me that he could have broke me, but he chose not to. Anyway, go ahead. What happened? So you see 2 beach bums, and then in your mind, you're like, these guys aren't big and jacked like my dad. I'm about to have some fun. I'm about to whoop everybody.
Yeah.
Is that where you was mentally?
That's really where I was mentally. Yeah. You
I
have me
believe it.
completely read.
All right, continue. You going to beat everybody. I got you.
Dunning-Kruger.
So,
I mean, I messed your story up. I'm sorry, bud.
it's all right. Now I have to retract my thinking. ADHD is killing me right now.
He's got ADHD too? Oh, join the club.
ADHD.
Oh man, I forgot the explosion.
I don't know what HD is, but the doctor told me I had 80 of them. Woo!
My dad said that, but it was like extremely loud, so it like echoed all the way to my room.
That's so funny
That's
to
a
me.
funny comment.
Yeah.
It is so good.
All right, so let's start over. Let's retrain your brain.
So we got
We walk in,
2 beach bums sitting on
a bald-headed beach bum,
Oh yeah, it's crazy. even
and
though-
then a bearded beach bum. Damn.
that's like both of you. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's you twice.
That's you twice.
I don't consider my beard a beard.
I think it's
Your dad, like, let's look at that majestic beard.
Bro, do you know we had my dad had a curry capture at a fair, at the Perry Fair. Was it a Perry? Where was it?
What?
Where'd you get your curry capture at?
A caricature?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was at the state fair.
Yeah, he went to the state fair, and that was funny. They made him look like a lumberjack.
Back to your story, son.
ADHD.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's getting late. It's
I don't
10.
really have much else
30.
to say.
No, man. All right. So you showed up. The thing, when you trained with the other kids, how did that feel?
It felt good realizing that, like, I don't know. I don't explain it. So,
Like, did it suck that day? Did you feel like bad when you left, or
no, I actually felt like I had fit in, so it made me feel better.
what did he say to you when he left out?
He's like, that was so much fun. I want to do this. Okay, so we signed up the day of. Like, we went and talked to Taylor, and you want to do this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, we'll do it. And we talked about it the whole way home. I'm like, this ain't football. This ain't baseball. This ain't something where you say this is something you want to do, and then you find out that it's harder than what you thought it was, and you're not going to do it anymore. And like, the thing that you need to know going into this is you're not going to be good to start with. But unlike those other sports that we've tried, you have kids who's been playing football for 12 years, and you got kids who's been playing baseball for 12 years. You're not on their level. I go, in jiu-jitsu, everybody starts out at the exact same place. Whenever you started class and they started with Oompa Shrimp, that's ground one basic level. This is the beginning. I go, so you're starting where everybody else starts, and you'll grow as everybody else grows. And you get better by wanting to get better.
And you'll surpass the ones that aren't trying to do the work.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that are just showing up to play dodgeball or to do the games or hang out or talk to the cute girl or whatever, those ones, they're not gonna progress as fast as somebody that cares. If you care as much as Bam repeats stuff, you will. It's like, look at Hunter. Yeah, like look at Hunter. Hunter's been training a year and a half.
He's crazy. He's like a beast.
He's been training a year and a half. Gabe's been training 4 years. And because of Gabe being as good as he is, Hunter has rose to where Hunter is. And it's like, that's why, though, because Hunter cares and he wants to beat Gabe. He'll tell you, I want to beat Gabe.
Oh, yeah, I want to beat Gabe, too. I mean, everybody's trying to beat Gabe at this
Gabe's
point.
got a target on his back.
He does, man.
He's got a target, man.
Huge.
So,
And Gabe's so cool about it, too, though, because, like, he'll take his time and help everybody. Like, he is such a cool kid.
dude, and it's funny because when Gabe started, he had this ego about him, and he felt like he had to be perfect. And when he'd mess a move up, he would cry about it. He would get upset. Like, and now look at him. It's like, now I can like I can throw him. I'm having a brain fart, but like I can just hip toss him. Right? I can throw him any kind of way. He'll break fall. If it lands or whatever, he'll just get right back into it and go. It's like the kid just wants to beat me.
Yeah.
His goal in life is to beat me.
He wants to tie you up like a pretzel.
And he does. And but that's what I love about him is like right now, nothing gets to him. Nothing gets to him. I can tell him, hey, go fight the wall. And he'll go, do you want me to punch and kick it or you want me to shoot on it? Like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, shoot on the wall. He'll say, yes, sir. And he'll just go shoot on the wall until I tell him to do something else. Yeah. That's why he's so good. Because I can say, hey, man, tonight I don't want you doing any front heads. No front head stuff. Everything is Kimura arm bars. That's it. That's all you got tonight. No legs, nothing. Just Kimura arm bars. Yes, sir. You won't see him do nothing but Kimura arm bars. Even if he's losing. Even if he gets beat. It's like he'll tap, he'll slap bump, Kimura arms. And then by the end of the night, he's figuring it out. And that's why that kid's so good. Because he cares.
I zoned out. I was still paying attention, but
no, that's fine, dude. I talk too much, and we've been on this thing for 2 hours, bro.
I mean,
yeah, I love it, and you don't really start getting to know each other till a good hour, anyways. When people start getting loose, they start getting tired, they start going, whatever, man, and they start kicking their feet out, and they start talking. I want to say this, dude. You are good, and I love your mindset. I love how you've been addressing things, and I didn't know what you thought when you come in, but I told Bam when you left that day, I said, if he makes the decision to do it, he's going to be good. That's what I told Bam. I said, if that kid decides to show up, and like that's why I told him that you could do adult. And you stayed. I told Bam was like, you're going to let him do adult? I said, yes. He can stay in the kids' class. If he stays in the kids' class and he's doing stuff in the kids' class like he's supposed to and he's making good grades, he can stay for adult because we leave it late in adult. But I said that because I see the drive in you, and I don't want you to get burnt out doing the same repetitive stuff with the kids because you're learning it. Because
that's what you were trying to do today. It was more of you were trying to divide the kids that actually understood this and didn't have to have it over and over again. Being told to, that way it didn't not want them to do it, because it was more of you're just making us do this every day. Like, when are we going to not have to go over this? We know this.
At what moment did you know that this was what you wanted to do?
It was more of when Gabe was teaching me break falls, and it was like when I didn't get the first one right, he was like, "Okay, let's do it again. Come on, we can do this all day."
So Gabe's the one that got him.
Gabe's the one that's given me this mindset the entire time.
He left that day talking a lot about Gabe. Like, Gabe was he's like, I want to be as good as that kid. He was amazing. I'm like, cool.
That's
Let's
awesome.
go.
You know what's crazy is I actually dreamed about that day happening, and I was like, I dreamed about somebody named Gabe. Like, didn't even know what he looked like. I just heard
Deja vu.
deja
That's
vu.
what that's called.
It was actually the ride on the way home of me talking about Gabe, and it said, I like Gabe. He's cool. I woke up and I'm like, I don't know who Gabe is. I guess I'll meet him at some point.
That's pretty cool.
Get
Yeah,
that
it's called
confirmation.
deja vu, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right. Well, that was a good session, guys. Shout out to our sponsors again, Beard and Chiropractic Care, right here in Eastman. Guys, if you need to see anybody, get your back straight, get your hip looked at because you're old and decrepit, whatever. He's got something for everybody. He's got health plans, all that good stuff. He literally sees all of the coaches and everybody here at the gym that trains with us in our adult program. Go and see that man if you need something. Hey, I'm telling you, you won't regret it. I didn't believe in chiropractic care at all, and I spent years with my hand going numb from an injury that I had in my neck in here. Got slammed into the wall. Years of not being able to feel my fingertips and stingers is what I would call them. Oh, I got a stinger, like it was normal. And then I went and see him, and he was like, nah, man, your disc in your neck and something behind your ears out. He adjusted me. Took me 2 weeks, full fingers back in. I haven't had a stinger in my hand since. And I always thought chiropractic care was like pseudoscience. No. And then boom, all of a sudden, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks of getting my neck adjusted and no more stingers. Go take that wherever it is because it works. And then Tect Center Mixed Martial Arts, we're changing lives one kid at a time, one adult at a time. Guys, we are literally trying to grow past our biggest numbers. I want to meet our biggest numbers. We're going to start our kickboxing and stuff like that. But we are literally, our goal, this is my goal, my personal goal, is to change the world. And I mean that. I want to change it from right here from this chair, but I want to change it out there with the kids. I want to start like this whole thing to teach people about their mental health. I want to teach people about dedication and hard work. And I just want to instill something in people so that they know that they matter and that they care for themselves and that they do this thing and like treat themselves with respect and all this other stuff. It's like you don't have to be perfect. You guys don't realize how many kids I have to look in their face and go, stop it. You don't have to be perfect. That's what we're doing here at Tech Center is teaching you guys how to overcome that mindset where you're constantly tearing yourself down. You wouldn't look at your friend that did something silly or whatever and be like, you sorry, but whatever. You would not talk to another human that way, especially someone you just met. If you just met someone, you wouldn't tell them like, you're a piece of crap, this and that, because they messed up a UPA or because they messed up whatever they're trying to learn. But then you'll turn around and talk to yourself that way. And I want people to understand that the only way that you become successful in anything is through failure and risking being the fool. If you risk being the fool, then you get to learn. And then when you learn, you're no longer a fool. And that's the truth. And that's what we're doing here. If you got a kid that's struggling with being perfect, or a kid that's struggling with attention, or a kid that's struggling with discipline, or a kid that just wants something to do to get them off the couch so they can get in shape and find some goals to do things.
Learn a skill.
Learn a skill. I left that out. Learn a skill. Come check us out, man. It's important. It's important to get these kids off the couch, get them out from in front of the damn screen. It's super important, man. And then there's like all that other stuff, having a community, having a village, having a support system, having friends, people that understand, people that knows what it's like to friggin' lose, feel like a loser, and then come back from it. Because I think everybody's been there. That's Jimmy with Tech Talk. That's Mr. Greg, Pannell, and CJ. I didn't let CJ talk a whole lot today, but I think he got to say what he wanted to. CJ, Greg, I thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Guys, it's late. I'm sorry.